What's up, guys?
What
What's
up?
going on? All right, welcome to the What's Up, Bro podcast. Your favorite podcast to come to listen to people talk and debate about stuff that they have no idea about. We are not certified or authorized to talk about anything, but
Nope.
yet here we are.
Here we are.
I am Nary Science. With me again is our good friend, Mike Valdez. How you doing,
Hello.
Mike?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, brother. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hold
It's
on, let
good
me
to
see if
see you,
this
dude.
works better. Is that better?
Yes, your lighting
Yes.
is way better now.
All right, good.
Um, yeah. So you're on the ships right now.
I'm on the ship. Yeah, I'm on a ship. I'm on a cruise ship right now. We just left, I think it was Grand Cayman today.
Okay.
And then we're going to Mexico tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
But
How
yeah,
are
man.
shows?
Dude, I had two shows yesterday. They're PG shows, right?
Hmm.
And at the first PG show, I find out that on board the ship there's a massive, like 1,500 people group of vegans.
Whoa.
And so I did not know that. And I found that out live at the show. Like while I'm at the show, I'm like, oh, there's a big group of you guys. And then like, yeah, like what is you guys? And they're like vegans. And I'm like, oh. So I do some vegan jokes, whatever, and everybody's having a good time. And then I
Hmm.
start some Q&As. I was like, oh, like you're like all of you are vegans. And then some people are like, no, there's only 1,500 of us, but that's a lot of people, right? And I was like, all
There's
right.
only
So then I start
1,500.
talking. Well, yeah, the ship holds like 6,000 passengers, so like 1,500 is,
Yeah.
so I was like, oh man, that makes a lot of sense, because there was no line at the hamburger line, like there was no line today.
Right.
I just went up and got a hamburger. There was like nobody waiting, and everybody started laughing. But this is all true.
Yeah.
So I'm making these jokes and I'm making these observations and I'm asking questions and I talk to these people like in the front. Now this is a theater, so
Hmm.
this room holds 1,000 people in itself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, talking to people. It's not the same as at a comedy club. It's not the same as at a
Right.
club because it's not, you know what I mean?
It isn't
Um,
intimate. Yeah.
right. Hold on, give me a second. Let me just shut down put my focus on because I'm getting alerts. Anyways, so all this information is coming into me, and so I talk to these people. And I was like, "Oh, you guys been vegans all your life?" And she was like, "No, I've been a vegan for 4 years." She was like, "I was a vegetarian before that." Like, so they're teaching me. I'm like, "What's the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian?"
Right.
And I'm making jokes, and it's everybody's having a good time. And then I said, "Let me ask you a question, because there's a lot of you clapped for being vegans." And then again, there was a whole roar, and I was like, "But some of you are fat. So how does that work? How do you guys are fat vegans? How
Yep.
does like
Oh,
like
that's
I know I am fat. Like I know why. Like you know what I mean? But like what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh," and then this lady was like, "Oreos are vegan." I'm like, "Oh shit, gotta do
100%.
it.
It
Gotta
is.
do it."
I was just about to say it is so easy to be vegan and fat. It is
Yeah.
because all you eat is carbs.
That's apparently, yeah. This guy who was fat. He was like, "Well, all I do is eat." I was like, "Dude," he was an older guy. I was like, "Sir, have you been a vegan your whole life?" And he was like, "No, I've been a vegan for like the last 3 years." And
Yeah,
he's old, right? And I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay," because you seem like late in the game to be like change up. You're like, "Wow, that's impressive." And then I was like, and so he was like, "Yeah, all I do is eat pasta." And I was like, "Oh."
yeah,
Oh, I think I could be a vegan. And then everybody started laughing. I was like, if
yeah.
it's
Being a vegan isn't hard if you like pasta, Oreos, and French fries. It's pretty easy.
Well, apparently, I found this out later, that Oreos may not be vegan, and here's the reason why. Because
Mhm.
sugar itself, white granulated sugar, depending on how they make the sugar, is not vegan.
Yeah, and that's America.
They use like animal bones and whatever
Yeah,
to make sugar, and I'm like, oh,
that's
unless you're doing like,
America,
yeah, yeah. So it's a whole thing. I didn't want to, but
bro.
I say
Vegans
all of
can't
this to
even have
say.
Jello, which is insane.
It's bonkers. So I say all of this to say the second show comes around. I had a great time with the first show. I'm having a
Yeah,
second show, having a good time, but it's not as great. It's going as great. There's like three people in the front row that they're like talking to each other and on their phones and talking to each other, but I'm ignoring them because
that
there's
sucks.
997 other people there,
Are
and
enjoying
so
themselves. Yeah.
right, and there's a couple behind them that are just blank staring me in the face. Now this cruise line is very international,
Mm,
so I opened the shows with, just to let you know, the show's going to be in English, because I've had it before where like 25 minutes into the show, a large group of people will get up and leave, and I'll be like, "Where are you guys going?" And then they'll speak to me in a language that I don't understand, and I'm like,
Right.
"Oh." And then I say this up front at the show. I'm like, which is impressive to me because if like sitting 25 minutes at a show that you don't understand, like there's no way Americans wait 25 minutes before we get up and leave.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
so then I
surprised
was
that
like,
they were respectful for 25 minutes.
right. And they were respectful because they weren't even looking at me. They weren't they're not that they weren't making noise, they weren't talking. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So I say all of that at the top of the show because this cruise line is very international. So I say all
Mhm.
of that. 15 minutes in, these three people, they're not paying attention to the show, whatever. And then there's two people who are looking at me and they're just stonewalling me. And I ask them, "Do you know English?" And they just look at me blankly and said, "Do you understand English?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God." Because my ego was going to take a hit. It's been 15 minutes and you guys have not
Right.
laughed at all, like whatever, blah, blah. And then I point out the people who've been talking in on their phones who haven't been respecting either. I'm like, "Oh, I'm hoping that they don't speak English either because they've been on their phones the whole time and been talking to
Yeah.
each other. So I'm hoping maybe they don't understand English." And the guy was like, "No, I understand English. I'm from Puerto Rico." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I was just did this thing where I was like, "Oh, so in Puerto Rico, when you go to shows, is it cool to like, just sit in the front and just like be on your phone and just like talk to somebody else? Like that something that they do in Puerto Rico at the shows in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Or do they have some almost laughing, whatever?" Then I show you everything's going fine because we're all laughing. I'm having a good time about it. And then I get
Yeah.
into the whole vegan thing. And I start asking the same questions. I even told them I asked these questions at the first show. I'm just learning an hour ago that there's a vegan group here, so forgive my ignorance.
Mm.
Everybody's having a good time. The guy starts chirping up and starts like, like yelling at me. I'm like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "Because we don't eat animals." I'm like, "I wasn't even talking to you. I'm talking to somebody else." I asked a married
Right.
couple. I asked, "Is there anybody who's a vegan who's here who's married or partners with somebody who's not a vegan?" And then some people raise their hands, and I'm talking to them. "How long have you been a vegan, sir? And you're not a vegan?" He's like, "Hell no, I'm not a vegan." Whatever. And we're all laughing. Everybody's having a good time. But the guy in the front is now yelling at me. So I was like, "What's going on, dude? What's happening?" He was like, "Because meat is murder." And I was like, "All right, man, that's cool, whatever." And he was like, I'm an animal rights activist." And I was like, I, I like you're answering questions that I'm not even asking. Like I'm not
Yeah.
asking, I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to the married couple over there. And I asked a very specific question about being with somebody who's not vegan. And then he keeps on. He's like, "I work for the United, whatever, blah, 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 whatever." And I was like, "Are you aware you're at a comedy show?" And he was
My
like, "Yeah." I'm like,
God.
"Because nobody, this isn't your rally. I don't understand why." And he keeps on going with like a almost, I'm sure it's not, I want to say prepared speech, but it's not like, I don't think he went in there saying, "This is what I'm going to do at the comedy show."
Sure.
But he has definitely said these things before. Like he
Right.
has definitely, like he has a script that he has in mind. And then meat is murder. They have feelings. And so then I said, Are you trying to recruit me? Like, are you trying to get me to become a vegan?" And everybody, now people are laughing. And I was like, "If I tell you, how about this? How about I tell you I want to convert to vegan? If I tell you I'll convert to being a vegan, will you shut up? Will you just shut up?" And the whole room, just like this roar. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then he kept on talking. I'm like, "What are we still talking? I already gave in. What are you doing? What are you trying to sell me on?" And I'm in. Oreos. You got me. I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
why do you got to keep talking? And the rest of the show kept going and it was fine. I ignored him. And then when I ended my set, I said, "You guys have been great. Well, most of you, you know who
Right.
hasn't. You know who hasn't." And then
Yeah.
I was like, but the show, I mean, I've been stopped today, like just going outside just to get something to eat. People have stopped me like, "Just to let you know, you were great yesterday. We're vegan and we think that guy's a jerk." And I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay."
Well,
Sure.
what's really funny about vegans is like they get the butt end of the stick, and from what I've understood is 99% of them are so incredibly nice and don't make it about you at all. Like it's just like you
Yeah.
want to eat what you want, fuck do whatever you want, bro. Like I just personally I eat like this and I
Yeah.
will not talk about it unless you are asking me why I'm not
Right.
having that. And
Which
that's
is what
it.
I even said to that guy who's married with a vegan. He's married to a vegan. I go, "Sir, are you vegan?" And he goes, "Hell no." And everybody
Right.
started laughing. And then I started laughing. And I was like, "Sir, why you gotta say it that way?" I was like, "It's not, I don't want to be derogatory. Like, hey, let vegans be vegans." I say, "I don't judge anybody for what they eat or who they love or do whatever you want to do." You know what I mean? That's everybody's cool. Just let live and let live. And then the guy was still chirping. And I was just like,
Right.
"Jesus Christ, dude." But I'm with you. I think for the most part, I think 99% of everybody's pretty cool for the most part. it's when you get
Yeah,
them in groups. It's when you get them in groups that start
100%.
becoming assholes. You know.
I mean,
Um,
I'll tell you right now why I can't be vegan. I can't stop eating pussy. What?
that's fish. That's fish. That's fish. So yeah, I don't know, man. I was hey, look at Osiris. Osiris, what's up, brother? Good evening. Hey, man. Um, yeah, I gotta be honest with you, man. I think that about everybody. Like with like even with like gym bros, like 99% of the gym bros are cool, man. You know, you'll get like
Yeah,
you get like that one jerk in the gym or whatever. But I've personally never experienced it. But that's also not to say that that doesn't exist. Same thing with like CrossFit bros. You ever seen CrossFit bros? Like
of
they're uber
course.
annoying online.
Every group has at least 20 to 25 people in that group that are just loud.
Yeah,
And the reason why they're loud, like they're so loud that we think the whole group is like that. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah,
mean? And it's really
yeah,
just those 25 people.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody
So I'm
else is
with you, man.
completely normal. Yeah.
But we had a cool time, man. We had a cool time. I'm looking forward to the R-rated show, to the what
That's
they
what
call
I was
it, the
gonna say,
adult
man.
show.
It kind of sucks that it was a PG show because as you were telling me the story, I was, maneuvering myself as a stand-up comedian as like, what would I say? It's like, well,
Yeah,
it's no wonder you're a vegan. You can't get pussy. Like, like and then I was like,
yeah,
damn, it's PG. Like, you can't say that.
yeah,
So I was just like, damn, that
yeah.
really sucks.
I gotta be honest with you. I thought that was a. I mean, I'm fine. Like I like doing PG shows. I really do. I like the
Sure.
exercise, the mental exercise of of not being able to curse. But I was very surprised that because I didn't even expect to say it. I was like, if I tell you I become a vegan, will you shut the hell up? And
Yes.
the pop. First of all, I was surprised that I said it because I wasn't planning on it. I just said it, and then the pop. I was surprised. The roar. This is his own people. His
Bro,
own people.
but not
Like
only
there's a
that,
massive amount of people who are like. It's
y-
just yeah,
you're saying what 997 people are thinking.
yeah.
And all of that energy is coming back, and dude, that would have felt so good. Like to
So
just be like, "Oh, I don't feel
the
like a
girl that was
complete
sitting next
failure."
to him, I saw the girl that was sitting next to him. The girl sitting next to him, she was like, she literally looked back cause they were in the front row, and she literally
Yeah.
looked back because of all the like volume, the pop, and she was like,
Yeah.
Jesus, that
She
was loud.
finally yeah, she was like she finally cut off her fucking phone. Like
She's like,
just like, "Oh my
she's
god."
like, what's going on? This is not normal. Uh,
That's
so
so
yeah,
funny.
but yeah,
Dude,
man.
that's crazy because like as it's just interesting, as a comedian and like looking like the how everybody has different shows, and it's so funny how just in one night, two different shows, you have a amazing show, having fun with all these people, and then in the next show everybody's having fun, but one person ruins it for everybody.
For one
And how
person,
weird is that?
I like the fact it's so funny because so one of the ladies that came up to me today, like I was getting coffee, and one lady was like, "My sides hurt from laughing so much when you were talking
That's
about
awesome.
when you were talking about the vegans." And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." And she was like, "And I'm one of them." She goes, "I'm one of the vegans," and I thought it was just so funny. And I was like, "Okay, all
Yeah.
right, cool, man." It was a really, but it's so funny that usually my experience on certain ships is when they do two shows a night, especially when it's a theater show and they do two
Yeah.
theater shows. Usually one will be really great and then the other one will not be. And it's just a toss of the coin which one is going to be great. Maybe the first one's the great one and the second one's not the great one, or vice versa. You never know. And this one was the second one wasn't even bad, but there was a definite different energy than
Of
the first
course.
show. Like it was just but hey, man, that's the way, that's what we
That's
live
part
for,
of the
man.
job. That's part of
That's
the
part of the
job.
job, man.
That's what we do. Yeah, it's funny. I remember I did a show a few months ago, and it was a crowd work thing too. That had to do with vegans, and this old woman came up to me, this old, like, frail kind of looking black woman with a British accent, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what a sweetheart, because, like, unfortunately, Americans, like, when we hear an accent that isn't American, we're just like, wow, you must be the smartest person on the face of the earth, or like, you must be the nicest human being of all time. And then, like, she comes up to me and she's frail, and she's like, oh, you had my sides hurting so much about the vegan, and you kept going in because you said something about handicapped people, and here I am in my walker. And I was like, oh my god, I was
Yeah.
not purposely making fun of you, I
But
was just making
also,
fun
you
of
old bitch. Yeah, you old bitch.
yeah, I wasn't making fun of her in particular, but I made a joke about, like, that it wouldn't like, vegans probably think that that's a reason to get a handicap thing for their car, and, like,
Oh, that's
it
good.
was it
Yeah.
was very it was very stupid. It was one of those, like, in the moment kind of jokes that I told in the room that wouldn't be funny elsewhere. And that woman came up to me and I felt so bad, dude. I was like, oh my god, that's not what I meant at all. And she was like, no, it was the funniest thing. You made me laugh. You made my night. It's my birthday. And I was like, this makes me feel
Oh my
worse. Like,
God. It's so like she just keeps adding more and
yeah.
more. Like, oh no.
She's like, I just finished giving blood to the homeless people and on my birthday, and I came to this show, and my God, you made me laugh so hard making fun of my handicap and my veganism. Like, just like, Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. Like, here's a
Yeah.
sticker. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I can't hear you now. You did something with your mic. Nope. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Nothing. Nothing.
Oh, that's it. That's what happened. Is it
Oh,
better?
okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. Is this better?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. I got it. All right. So yeah, man. It's wild, man. It's that's why you love the shows. I love doing the shows for that reason.
Yeah,
It's just a
same.
good time.
Yeah.
But
That's really
I'm
fun.
like, there's a part of me that's like, is that guy gonna be like, is he gonna come to the adult show? I wonder if he's gonna come to the adult show.
God, I
I
hope
wonder.
not.
I hope he does. My the cruise director was like, I hope he doesn't go to the adult show. I'm like, I hope he does because
Hey,
I'll be
really?
ready. I'm like, oh my god, I'll be love to unload on that fucking guy. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well,
Like
yeah,
this,
well, given that you have no restriction, yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome. That
yeah.
that
Give
would
me
be,
like I
yeah.
don't, I don't. It was just the weirdest uh, energy from him. I'm like, you, and then I even said to him, I'm like, you don't pay attention the whole show, and then now all of a sudden you want to take over. Like, what? This is a comedy show. What are you
Yeah.
doing? He was just very confused. But yeah, man. Anyways, but I'm glad you're happy here, bro. I'm glad I just watched. I was just like minutes before we got on the show. I was just watching Crimson Tide.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized I have not seen that movie in its entirety, maybe ever.
Really?
I had seen large bits and pieces of it growing up as a kid. The movie came out. I forgot what year the movie came out, but the movie came out, and I don't remember. I remember seeing large scenes of it,
Sure.
but I don't remember seeing the whole thing through from in one sitting, especially ever. And so Gene Hackman passed away a couple weeks
Hmm.
ago. Actually, more longer. It turns out that he's
Little longer,
longer,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the news came out recently that his wife. It turns out his wife died before he did,
Hmm.
which was so sad. I was like, because his
Very
wife was
sad.
like 30 years younger than him. She died of some virus that's carried by mice.
Hmm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh no. Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah. And then he
mean,
died a week. He died a week after she did. And I was like, a week. Oh, that's sad, dude.
yeah, the only survivor was the dog, which makes me think the dog did it.
There was
But
two dogs. There's two dogs. There was
yeah.
three dogs, and one of them died. So there was two
Yeah.
dogs that survived. And
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, like, of course, any tragedy is terrible, especially weirdly enough, and you know how they say it, which, like, not to be super depressed, but, like, people, unfortunately, when they die in threes. And Michelle Trachtenberg also passed away the day
that's
right
right.
after.
Yeah.
And the news came out the same day, but Jean had died the day before. And
So So when did Gene show? Because they don't even have a specific date, right? They just gave a
No.
roundabout, like, oh,
Yeah, they
they
gave a
just
roundabout date. We still don't know the exact, and I don't think we
so on the
ever.
headstone. What did they put? They put a question mark. They put ish. Did they put like an
Yeah.
ish?
Well, I
They
mean, they
put like a
put a
little symbol of
year.
hands going like this, like
Yeah. Eh,
around
yeah.
around around March 14th.
Yeah.
Around, I don't know.
If anything on the tombstone, they'll just put like the month and the year, which I would think, but
Yeah,
I who knows? I don't know.
yeah.
And I will say this though, like, every death is sad and of course, but
Not every death. Not every death. Not
he
every
lived
death.
a good, that's true, like Hitler, but like, which reminds me of that Dana Gould joke, dude.
That's the best. That data go joke is the best. I think that's the best written joke of all time, like ever,
Bro,
period, of all time.
Dana Gould, perfectly written and perfectly performed joke ever. Like
Yeah.
the tension that he puts in that joke.
Marriage is
What
hard.
Yeah, what Neri and I are talking about, is Dana Gould's new special on 800 Pound Gorilla. Please watch it. It's on YouTube for
Is it
free.
is it on the new special? Because I that
It's
that bit is a few years old. I heard that bit a few
No,
years ago. So
it's old, but he put it on there because it's like a new he did that bit and then another bit that's because yes, the Hitler joke has been since Mr. Funny Man, and I think that joke
yeah,
or that album came out in the 80s. So, which is crazy that joke is still funny,
it
looking back at it now.
it it's a perfect joke.
Yeah,
It's just perfect. It's just
it's a
perfect.
perfect joke,
Like
and
every word of it, and the fact that it's true. The fact that
yeah.
I immediately, when I first heard that joke, I immediately Googled. I was like, wait, was he only married for a day? Like, I did not know
Yeah.
that. And
Well,
yeah, it
as
is a perfect
as
joke.
Gina Gould said, he World War II 4 years, marriage couldn't make it to lunch. Um
Yeah.
like, which is like,
Marriage is hard.
yeah, marriage is hard. That's such a funny joke, dude. But
He
anyway,
called this a
yes.
bunker. He called this a bunker. My sister's husband. Now that's a
Yeah.
bunker.
Oh, no, that's a bunker. Yeah, dude. Anyway, he tells this really funny Hitler joke that sounds like it wouldn't be funny, but my God, it is one of the funniest jokes you'll ever hear. And
I've actually introduced that joke to Jewish friends of mine who had never heard it, and they're like, "Nothing's." I'm like, "Dude, trust me," and they've laughed
yeah,
and like, "God," and they're like, "Jesus, that is so good." I'm like, "Yes,
it
dude,
is.
yes." It's
It is
just
because it presents a certain way, and then it does that Simpsons left turn that I'm sure he probably fucking created. That where you're just like, oh my God, this was everything I didn't think, and that's
yeah,
hilarious. Like,
yeah, yeah,
that's so funny, and it's a
yeah, yeah.
gold mine. Like, because he's just tag after tag. Like the second he's doing that bit. But anyway, watch his new special, 800 Pound Gorilla, on YouTube. It's completely free. It's so funny. But
FYI,
anyway,
the 800-pound gorilla is the title of the production company.
yeah, the production company.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to make sure for the audience who doesn't know that they're going to be looking up Dana Gould 800-pound gorilla, which might still pop up, but the
Yeah.
name of the special is not 800-pound gorilla. So
No, no. The name of the special I forget is I forget what it's
doesn't
called,
matter.
but
Just Dana
it's
Gould. Just YouTube it. It's great.
you'll find
He's
it.
great.
It's
He's
good.
fantastic.
He's great. But anyway, yes, there are some deaths that you're just like, yeah, good riddance. But what I was gonna say was Gene had a really good life. Like
He did, man.
he was 98. He had a good life. He
95.
95, yeah, 95.
Yeah.
And Michelle was a bit more of a
What do you remember Michelle from the most as far as like what was her thing to you?
well, for me, she was she's a bit older than me, but not by much, so I
She's
grew
my
up with
age.
her.
She's
Yeah,
my age. So yeah, so
yeah,
yeah.
I grew up with her, so Harriet the Spy was the thing that I grew up with.
To me it
Yeah.
was Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, Buffy, she's phenomenal in Buffy.
Yeah.
And Road Trip, she's great in. And yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me was
Was she in
Buffy
Eurotrip?
and She was in Euro Trip, yeah.
That's right. She was in Euro Trip.
That's what I meant, not Road Trip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You
Euro
said
Trip.
road trip, and I thought maybe that she was in both. I don't remember. I don't remember road trip very much. But Euro
Me
Trip was
neither. Yeah,
Euro Trip. I
yeah.
think is a better movie than Road Trip, and I think Road
Way
Trip
better movie.
is more famous for whatever. Oh, because Tom Green was in it.
Tom Green was in it, and that was the 90s was a time for Tom Green for sure.
Yeah.
Like that kind of humor, which was just like sucking on a cow's udder and just looking at the camera and asking if you're funny, you know.
And my
And
bum is on my bum is on your lips. My bum is
yeah,
it's a crazy time.
yeah,
You know, he did you ever see that clip where he basically invented the podcast?
yeah, I did.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's nuts. I worked with him, by the way, right before COVID.
Oh, really?
Like we were at the Miami Improv, and like a week
Oh,
and a half
fun.
later, or like 2 weeks later, they closed the world down.
Yeah.
It was the last week of January, first week of February at the Miami Improv. The following
Greatest
week was
Tom Green prank of all time.
the following the following week was Super Bowl week, and then like 2 weeks after that, they shut the world down. Yeah.
That sucks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, the whole time during the shutdown, when I went like, 6 months without doing comedy, I was like, is Tom Green the last comedian that I'm ever gonna get to see live? That's gonna
right.
fucking
Yeah.
suck.
That kind of sucks. Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
you.
I mean,
Damn you.
the good news is
Super
I
nice
don't know
guy,
if-
by the way.
I,
The
I'm
nicest guy.
sure. I'm sure
He's Canadian, dude. Their default is nice. Like he's
yeah,
super
their
nice.
default is nice. Yeah. So yeah, I assume he's nice. I've never seen his stand up. But I don't know.
Neither have I.
Really? And you worked with him?
I worked with him. Did not. Nope. Nope. Did not see it.
Nope. Never saw it.
Never saw it.
That's
I
so
saw like 2 or
funny.
3 minutes as I was setting up my merch, and then I was
Sure.
like, "Yeah, no."
I mean, to be fair to anybody that's looking or to watching or listening to this podcast talking about two comedians that don't listen to other comedians, it's not that we're not so that we're doing that on purpose. It's that we're busy doing other things like setting up merch or meeting other people or talking to trying to get our money, like just things like that. And
but
sometimes
also,
you just
I wasn't really interested in watching his comedy.
hey man,
but also,
I didn't want to say it. I was trying to get you out of the hole, but
I'm not. I don't think it's a hole. I don't think. But that's not. I'm not trying to be insulting.
I know.
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's an insult.
I know.
An insult would be like I watched it and it sucked. I didn't.
Right.
I was like I was. And this is actually very true. And this is not, again, I don't think I said anything wrong, but also to further the point, this is a true story. I think this is unconfirmed, but I think I had COVID.
Really?
Because that was before they were testing COVID in this country. I had like what I thought was a really bad flu. And I went to the doctor. I went to the urgent care. They told me they did the flu test and I was negative for the flu. I did it on the ship. I came home 2 days later. I went to the emergency. Again, negative for the flu. They gave me whatever, a bunch of, hormones, a bunch of steroids, and I felt better for like a day and a half. And then it hit me again. And so I was not in like again, and this is before the world shut down. This is before there was any cases in America. So they weren't even testing for COVID. So I can't with 100% certainty say I had COVID then, but I'm pretty sure I did because that lasted another week and a half. I was like, I remember later on after that weekend, I was on a ship and I was just like dying. And I remember in the fetal position, literally saying, "I'm sorry, God." I don't know what I was apologizing for. I just said, "I'm sorry." I was just like,
bro,
whatever I did.
When you're
whatever
sick,
I did.
When you're sick like that, you get so vulnerable and spiritual for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I was just like, whatever I did to deserve this, I'm so sorry. It was
I'm
real
so
bad.
sorry.
I'm
sucks.
so sorry. And so I think so to be fair, I wasn't even feeling like I just wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling well at all that weekend.
I get that. I get that entirely. And funny
and I know
enough,
they say medicine is the best comedy is the best medicine, but they're wrong. It's not true. That's actually not true. Medicine is the best medicine. Trust me.
That's funny. One of the things that I was thinking about was how you were like, I had COVID before the outbreak or whatever, and it reminded me of that Nate Bargatze joke. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where he's like,
no, I don't know.
"Yeah, COVID, I had that. Yeah, back in '95, I had it." It's it's like I don't think it's the same thing. Like,
Yeah, I
So
had yeah.
everybody has that friend that like already had it for some reason, like before
Well, there's always
everybody.
that what's that called? I always forget that the term for the people who like when you like a rock band before they
Hmm.
become cool and then
The
they become
hipsters.
cool. The hipsters, right? So
Hmm.
there's always those hipsters that is like, yeah, I had I had COVID before everybody else got it. It's like
Right.
this is not a source of bragging or pride, by the way.
Right.
I'm like I am
Exactly.
not happy about it, but I'm just the only reason I bring it up is to say like I remember not feeling well. I remember he was very like, oh, you're not feeling well? Okay, I don't wanna. And I was like, dude, I'll leave the green room. I literally said I'll leave the green room. It's fine.
Yeah,
And I was like, all right.
I
And he
get
was,
that.
yeah,
I get that entirely.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and nothing is worse, bro. I will I don't know if you remember this. We did a show. It had to have been right when things either were about to close or when things started opening up, and you and I went to Off the Hook together and I opened for you. You remember
Yeah, I
that?
remember that. Yeah, yeah, I
Bro,
remember that. Yeah,
and
of
people
course.
were coming up to us and we were so scared. We were so scared that they were gonna get us sick.
Like, no, 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 no meet and greet. No, 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 no,
No, it was
no.
so
Yeah,
fucking funny. Like, I mean, of course, looking back at it now, it's funny. Back then, it was not funny.
it
But
was after. It was like after when everything started opening up again. It was
yeah,
like
but
it
Florida
wasn't
opening
fully
up,
open. Yeah,
like,
it wasn't
yeah,
fully opened up. It was there were like three chairs in between people, and there was this whole
yeah,
thing. Yeah, yeah. It was definitely a thing. Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah, so back to Gene Hackman and Michelle Trachtenberg. Yeah, Harriet
But
the Spy.
Gene's last movie was Welcome to Mooseport.
Yeah, so essentially his last show was Tom Green because he worked with Ray Romano for his last movie. This guy was in that movie and he's like, "Ah, fuck this. I don't need to be in this business anymore. I was in
I w-
Hoosiers."
I
Like,
wonder who's the actor that had the best last movie before he died.
yeah,
Like
that's
what was like the actor that said like I went out on top, man.
but to be fair, he retired. Like he chose to leave the business.
Well,
He
yeah, he
didn't
retired. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's even worse because he chose to leave off on Welcome to
what if
Mooseport.
what if he what if he thought that was his best movie?
What if he was like, "That's as good as it gets. I can't do
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
can't do
yeah.
it better than that. I can't."
Yeah, dude.
Sure,
I
French Connection,
yeah,
whatever. But
yeah,
Welcome to Mooseport. That's the best I got, man. I can't do better
yeah,
than that.
man. I've worked with so many. Yeah, forget it. Like I did the conversation with Harrison Ford. Not as good as Ray Romano and Welcome to Mooseport.
Two
Like,
Oscars, two Oscar
yeah,
wins, but I can't.
yeah.
But all I'm saying is like that's to me is what makes it worse. He retired. Like he
Yeah.
could have he went 15, 18 years before dying. He could have made a movie in those
Oh
18 years,
yeah.
especially like the year after. He could have made a movie
Yeah.
then and he's like, "Nah, I'm out. I'm done."
That's so it's so crazy too because like as a kid I remember like probably the biggest thing that I remember as a kid and then of course not knowing when you're a kid and then finding out when you're older is that he was the sergeant in Ants and he's
I don't
like
even I don't remember that movie I mean that movie is so bad. I don't remember it at all.
dude it's so so
Woody Allen,
back
right? Woody Allen,
Woody Allen's in it. Yeah, it's not Woody
Stallone.
Allen's movie. Yeah, Stallone's in it.
It is Woody Allen's
Um,
movie. He's the main ant. Woody Allen is the main ant.
I thought the main ant was Stallone. Maybe I'm
No,
wrong. I haven't seen
Stallone.
it in a
No,
while.
Woody Allen is the main ant, and Woody Allen plays basically Woody Allen as an ant, and he's like, I don't.
That's
Why am I digging?
hilarious.
I don't want to dig. And then Stallone is like the guy that's like, hey, you got to make sure you build. Look at my muscles and whatever. And it's
Right,
just like,
right. And then the
yeah,
sergeant is Gene Hackman. And it's funny because especially at that time, there were a lot of CGI bug movies because there was A Bug's Life came out that same year. And
yeah.
so like it was
Isn't it sad how they were like, look, we made these CGI ants, and then Pixar was like, hold my beer, we'll show
yeah.
you how it's done.
Which, funny enough, it's actually still the least talked about Pixar movie.
It really
Even
is.
though, which
Look
is
who it
like,
is. Look who we got. Is she on?
I'm not sure. I
I
just
see
see
a
a
black
blank
square.
screen. Oh, there it is.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey!
Steph
Hi!
Animator Senior. Ba, 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 ba. Stephanie,
Oh,
are you
okay.
cutting? Are
I
you
don't
cutting
know
in and
if it's
out?
my connection or your guys' connection,
Well,
but this might
me
be
Ask
and Mike were
very
doing.
awkward and stilted.
Me and Mike were doing just
yes.
fine. How's
Oh
Australia
no.
Wi-Fi? How's Australia? Are you wearing gloves?
No.
Oh, I thought because of your yellow shirt and your lighting, I thought your hands were covered in like yellow gloves. I'm like, is she wearing like the
Oh,
Beauty and the
okay.
Beast gloves?
I want to do this episode with you guys, but if I'm messing up, the thing and all, I just
No, we just
No,
can't see
it's fine.
you. We can't see like you cut in and out, but I'm fine with it. But we're I'm so happy you're here. Or not.
Or
Sure.
not.
Ah,
well, as long as you can hear me, all right?
yeah, but you're like it's a long delay. Is there a delay?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, what is happening?
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
a
long
long delay.
delay.
Yeah.
All right. Try to get out and then come back in. Connect. Do that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
How do I do that? Bye-bye.
It's so funny.
Well, yeah.
It's so funny that I'm on a cruise ship and I have better Wi-Fi than her and she's at home.
Yeah. Do
But
you
her
have
home is
do you,
Australia.
are
So
you
it
have
goes the other
a
way. It goes the
are
other
you
way.
That's what I was gonna say. She's at tomorrow right now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
she's in tomorrow.
yeah. By the way, speaking of movies that nobody talks about, you remember Tomorrowland with George Clooney?
I love that movie, dude.
Bro, that
I
movie is so
love
underrated.
So it is
It's so good.
that you know how bad that movie is underrated? It's not rated.
Yeah, you're
Nobody
right.
ever talks about that movie. And I'm like that. And me and my wife are like, why are nobody talking about this movie? We love this. That movie was fucking awesome,
That
bro.
movie rules. It's really
It's
good.
It's so good on every level. The acting, the visual,
Mm.
it's so good. And that their house is in it. Oh my god, you kidding me?
Yeah.
That movie is so fucking good, dude.
Bro,
Yeah.
they had me at the trailer when it was like that, like John Williams stringed Great Big
Yeah.
Beautiful Tomorrow thing.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, starring George Clooney. And I was like, this is gonna be the best thing ever. So yeah. It was
How's it
Is it
going,
working
Steph?
now?
Is it working?
I think so. I lowered the
Okay.
resolution in my computer. I don't want to scare it.
I think-
okay.
Are you talking low because you think the louder you talk, the more you're gonna spook the Wi-Fi?
It'll spook the Wi-Fi. It'll
Yeah.
notice that
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've observed it.
Yeah.
Well,
I see
the
you.
Wi-Fi is
I see
quicker
you.
now.
I hear you. I
Goodbye.
believe in you.
Yeah.
I exist. Goodbye.
Steph, did you have a kid since the last time you were on?
What? No.
I don't know how
That
long
is
you
a-
haven't been on in the
A
400s.
crazy question to ask somebody.
You haven't been on. This is episode 414, and you haven't been on in the 400s.
I know. It's been-
So,
it's
my,
insane
I
over
don't think
here.
that question is that crazy. How old is your youngest now?
2. She's 2.
Just imagine
Okay.
walking up to any woman and saying, "Wow, it's been so long. Have you had a kid since the last time I saw you?" That's so weird.
Well,
What you been doing, Papa Babies?
I just meant the last time she was on the show. I didn't mean the last time I saw her. I
Okay.
mean the last time I saw she was on the show.
Yeah.
There was a thing
I
because
was
she
on
had.
semi
It's just a
recently.
crazy question.
No,
No.
it's definitely not 2025.
Fuck.
No,
I've
yeah.
been busy. It's been.
Hey,
an
I'm not
intense
blaming you. We're
fucking
not
week.
and then we changed the schedule because Mike had a
Yes,
thing, and Mike
that's
had,
what screwed
so
me was the schedule change because you guys are like,
Don't-
oh, it's
don't-
proposed. They proposed a
don't-
new time, and all of a sudden I'm like, that's 3 a.m. for me. So
don't
Yeah.
blame the schedule change because we moved it to 9:30 p.m. today for you, and you came in at 10:15.
I got my time wrong.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
I
Fair
thought
enough.
I was precisely on time.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Well,
was
we
on
were
Friday.
on. We were on. As you can tell, we've been recording for 41 minutes now.
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
Daylight savings and being on the opposite side of the planet is very complicated.
Does Australia do daylight savings?
yeah, in some states.
Oh,
Some
cool.
states do, some states don't. So
Okay.
that's why doing the math for overseas is impossible sometimes.
If
For
it
the
makes
long-
you feel any
You know, you
better,
could
we
just
haven't
Google it.
gotten to any of the topics on the docket, so we're
That's not true.
We're
We
good.
talked about Gene Hackman.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about Gene Hackman, but
It's a weird case, man.
isn't
It's
it?
a weird story. He died a week after his wife, who's 30 years younger than him. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, how did she and how long was she there? And like,
She died a week, so she was dead.
that's what I'm saying.
She died of a
dead in
virus.
her bed for
Yeah,
a week. So is he just walking around sad? Like, it just sounds so
But
sad.
he had dementia. He had
Yeah.
Alzheimer's. He had
So did he just
Alzheimer's.
forget?
I think he was just walking around. He just didn't know who. Like, I think he was just like a sad situation where she's dead, and then he doesn't know what to do with himself, and then he has Alzheimer's. So I
Yeah.
think like how many? It must have been real sad to like wake up the next day and be like, "Oh, my wife is dead again." Like,
Right.
he has to go through that
Yeah.
again. It's brutal. And then he had
Yeah.
heart disease, and
Yeah, it sounds
and
like
he
an
was
actual nightmare scenario. Like,
yeah.
like a Black
yeah.
Mirror ugly shit. Like,
Yeah, it's like what's worse, that or having your last movie be Welcome to Mooseport?
That's
Which one of
what
those two
you
things
read
do you
my
think is
mind.
the
That's
worst?
what I was going to say. But to be
He-
fair, when you
he-
have dementia, it might have been his best movie in his head. Like he's like, oh,
Out
that
of-
was a
look,
pretty
it
good
sounds
movie.
like the most nightmare ending for 51st dates ever.
Oh yeah, remember
Of
that?
course.
Yeah.
That's the way that movie ended for real.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, remember? Like, yeah.
Can you imagine
could
what
no
it was
longer-
like waking up as that character pregnant? Like,
I
like the last
I gotta
memory
be
you
honest
have
with
is
you.
going to sleep.
I can't
Imagine waking up.
I can't imagine waking up pregnant in any scenario.
Uh,
I guess
gonna
it's true.
say,
Yeah,
could you-
it'd be like if you woke up pregnant.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
I'd
could you
be like,
imagine
"How the fuck
waking
did
up
this
and
happen?"
Adam Sandler's trying to woo you for that many
Yeah.
times?
Yeah,
And I feel bad for Adam Sandler on so many levels because he has to wake up before her every single day. God forbid
Yeah.
she wakes up first. Like, he has to like wake up early. How does that work?
there is no sleeping.
He has to set an alarm, but she can't hear the alarm, but they sleep next to each other. How does that work?
It's insane.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
amount of times he probably had, oh my god, like, and the kid waking up every day and the parents like, who are you? Oh my god,
Yeah.
I gotta explain
that
this
movie's
shit
an
again.
actual nightmare.
It is. It really is. It's like the saddest thing ever. And
It's
I love
almost
that
like
movie.
rom-coms
It's-
aren't as cute as they are.
Hmm.
Oh man, if you strip away Stephanie,
You
I
strip
don't know
away
if you know
like
this,
the
Mike,
happy. You take away the happy music. You just
Mike-
change the
Mike-
soundtracks.
Mike, you don't know this, but a few months ago, Stephanie ruined one of my favorite romantic movies. It's not a comedy, but it's a romantic movie. The Time
Mm.
Traveler's Wife.
do?
She fucking just,
Oh, yeah.
she tried. She tried to ruin that movie for me, and I was like, no.
That's
movie's
like,
not.
isn't that movie like one of the 5 movies that it's okay for guys to cry in front of each other?
That movie's amazing,
think
and that's
I don't know if it's Time
Stephanie.
Traveler's Wife. I still think that's In Time. I think that's the one because like usually things between fathers and sons, guys usually
Yeah.
are okay with crying.
Yeah.
Like if it has anything to do with a dad, then they're okay with being
If
like
it has to do
"Oh,
with
we
a
had
dad or
relationship."
if they're boxing,
Sports of some sort.
yeah,
yes.
anything sports related.
I
even
man, I
though-
cry all the time. I don't care.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
give a shit. I
Well,
cry.
you're different because you're
Yeah,
an
yeah, I don't
entertainer.
care.
I'm
You're
just I just
comfortable in
mean
your
guys in
masculinity, it's fine.
general. Yeah. Yeah,
But-
well, we could say it like that, but performers have the vulnerability gene, so it's like we're a little bit more sensitive.
Well, yeah, 'cause
Stephanie,
you literally go on stage and you're like, "Here's my insides.
Exactly.
Stephanie,
Yeah, that's
Observe, laugh at them."
ruin Time Traveler's Wife for him. Go ahead.
It's grooming the movie.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
No, it's
Like,
not.
I
It's not
couldn't-
grooming the movie. That's
I
his
couldn't-
wife.
Look, it's lovely and all. I just couldn't see it the same after the scene where he like comes back to her as like a little girl, and then I'm like, oh, like she never had a choice but to love him, and she has
What do you
that
mean
whole
that
like
she-
speech
she
about
had a
it.
choice? That's so ridiculous that they didn't have it. She had a choice.
That's not what
She had a
grooming
choice.
is.
But again, it's only when you're not that when you don't already know that you're gonna end up with that person. We're talking about time travel. I think the fact that you're missing the time travel portion of the equation, like
That's
it's
true.
not like
I'm
visiting a
putting
child.
together no. I'm putting together the fact that he visited her constantly throughout her life was her most constant example of what a man is supposed to be. And like
And
when
it's a
he's
good
not related to
example.
her-
He's a good man. He was a good man. It's not a
Yeah.
bad example to give.
No, she got lucky that the person who groomed her was a decent time traveler. Okay.
Jeez,
She
so
was-
wrong.
she
Like
was
saying
lucky-
that wild stallion could have run at any time. I put it in the pen and I groomed it
Yeah.
every day and I fed it and I domesticated it, but at any point could have run.
Yes.
Change it.
Yeah, we're saying thank you. Now you see my side. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally. That's
No.
yes. Exactly right. perfect example.
If she was going to be groomed by anyone, at least she was groomed by her husband.
Thank
That's
you,
all
a
we're
Mike.
weird
trying to
sentence
say.
to
Thank
say
you,
out
Mike.
loud. It's
But
a weird
again,
sentence to say
I-
out loud.
I
It's
Well, I
think
meant to
you're
say it
not
as
understanding the
satire,
time
but-
traveling, the
Yeah.
time traveling aspect of it is a big deal. Like you're making it seem as if it's just the guy down the street that visited the kid every once in a while. Like it's not that.
That's
It's her
that's
future
like watching.
husband.
No, yeah.
That's like
The
watching
time
Back to the
travel-
Future and being like, "This guy's literally just trying to kiss his mom." Like it's like,
It's like-
no, there's time
No,
No.
it's the other way
travel.
around. To be fair, it was her that she was the initiator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is. I'm so glad that you reminded our audience that it is her that puts it on him and
Yeah.
not him at all. But
He
yes,
is very
She
like,
tried to put it on him.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's very like,
But like
please, for
that.
the love of God, don't touch me. You're my mom. Like,
yeah. And this is like a
But-
mommy issues role play thing. This is like
yeah.
I wish they would have addressed the fact that his name, in all seriousness, would never have been Marty at that point, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, so you in high school and you're doting after Mike, right? In this case, right?
Mhm.
You and Mike don't work out. Me and you end up getting married. Years
Mhm.
later, we have a kid, and you want to name him Mike. Excuse me? You're
She
gonna
thought his name
name?
was Calvin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she thought his name was Calvin Klein.
Oh, that's right. I thought it
He
was
was
Marty.
under.
Right, yeah. I forgot that
Yeah,
aspect.
no.
I forgot that aspect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they no, that's actually not true because what's his face? George knows that his name is Marty. And so
Yeah, but George saw him as a friend.
right.
And
But
like the guy
again,
who
do
helped
you think
him
it's a
and
little
him and
weird?
his
Do you
girl
think-
get together.
That's where I got it. Thank you, Mike. That's where I was confused. But don't you think it's a little weird to be like, hey, my friend Mike that you used to dote after, I'm gonna name my son after that? Don't you think that's a little fucking awkward?
I thought they both thought his name was Calvin. He eventually said a good name would be Marty. Like he's the one who put the name out there. but
No,
he
that's
wasn't
actually
on that end.
so you are talking to someone who's seen this movie way too much. She is the one that says, Marty, that sounds like a really good name. And then you're supposed to think that they name him Marty 2 kids later or 3 kids later.
Yeah.
Well, when they were,
Yeah.
it's like when they were trying to they were drying up of options, and they were like, "Oh, but remember that guy?"
Yeah.
That I try to
Like,
fuck. Remember that?
together
Remember that
and
guy
stuff?
was. Remember that guy was trying to fuck. You remember?
Yeah.
It, right? Remember that?
Remember that
you're
guy?
like,
And
yeah,
then this
yeah.
guy like basically assaulted me, and then you punched him and you punched his
So
lights out.
romantic.
Isn't
It's
he the guy that washes
honestly-
our cars now? Isn't he the guy that washes our cars now?
Let's be honest. A lot of our parents. Who's like,
Isn't that the guy that washes
Yeah.
our car now?
yeah.
Always
the guy that
crashes into
sexually
shit
assaulted me.
trucks.
The guy that sexually assaulted me. Doesn't he wash our cars now? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
He always
that's
crashes
fine.
into shit trucks for some reason. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
We get a
His
discount. It's
his
fine. It's
grandson
fine.
does the same shit.
Yeah, it's the same shit truck every time.
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude. That movie, I think that's my favorite movie of all time, and the reason why is because it's literally lightning in a bottle. It is a millisecond away from being a complete disaster. Like
Sure.
because everything works so perfectly, and it is like just an inch away from being so fucking weird. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you have to understand that an audience is okay with the fact that an old man calls a kid and tells him, hey, meet me at the mall at 2 a.m. And he's just like, all right. And nobody questions it. Like, they're just like, sounds cool. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Shit that
You know?
couldn't
Yeah, but
happen in movies
I-
now because they'd be like, "That's creepy."
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I think it's a perfect movie because of the time frame that it was made, not just the 80s,
100%.
but even the 90s.
Mhm.
But I don't think that movie nowadays. Everybody's always like, "Oh, do you think they'll be able to make Tropic Thunder nowadays?" I do. I don't think they'll be able to make Back to the Future nowadays. I think it'd be a little hard
No.
sell. There'd be lots of changes
Yes.
to the there'd be lots of changes, and it makes
Way
sense
too
as to
many
why he was
changes,
an old
yeah.
man.
He
By the way,
probably
it makes
wouldn't have
sense.
created rock and roll.
Yeah.
He
It
probably
makes
wouldn't have
sense.
created Chuck Berry.
Oh yeah, they'd create K-pop or some shit. They
Create hip hop.
Creating K-pop would be hilarious.
Well, because
white
like,
guy?
if you think about it now, I've actually done the math. This is how fucking of a nerd I am. I've done the math. If they do it now, they would be going back to the 90s. So
Yeah.
he would.
Nirvana?
So he would.
He'd go, like,
he
do,
would
like,
go up
Teen-
on
Teen
stage
Spirit?
and do like Straight Outta Compton. Like,
Oh yeah, something that I could. Gangsta's
Like,
Paradise. Like,
yeah. That was very interesting music.
Yeah.
It's
Your
the
kids
scared,
are gonna
scared
your kids
white
are gonna
people.
love it.
If I say, but for it to be music that really throws people off, I think you would end up having to go the rock route at that point.
No,
Yeah,
it has to be
Because it'd
music
have
that
to be a
wasn't
little
yet
more.
invented. It has to be
Yeah.
music that wasn't yet invented. So in the
Exactly.
So would he have
90s,
to be doing like Darude? Like you do like Sandstorm? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like
He'd have to
it has to
do-
be like K-pop. It has to be something that wasn't
It'd have
around
to
in the
be
so like
90s.
back then.
It'd have to be
So he
K-pop. It'd
goes
have to be
back.
like dubstep or like or it would have to be
Gangnam
dubstep
Style.
is probably
He does
dubstep
believe
is probably the
that
best
Eiffel
thing
65.
because in the 90s it would just sound like robots
90s.
fucking.
Yeah.
So like dubstep
was
is
the
probably
90s.
the best thing.
Yeah, because if it's the 90s, yeah, because the 2000s would be more like that kind of dance music would at least have been heard of. But like in the 90s,
Well, 35
Yeah,
years ago,
2000s was
35 years ago
Britney
was what,
Spears, yeah.
19? So 35 years ago was 1995.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm
35
saying.
years ago, if Bruce Wayne is 35 years old right now, that means when he was 10,
I love this.
we're doing Batman.
when he was 10, when he was
Nary and I
10
do
years
this
old,
whenever
Yeah.
Nary and I co-host together. We always do this. What
So,
year? What year?
it was 2000. So when he was 10, it's 2005. Bruce Wayne is 2005. What is a
Okay.
popular movie that came out in 2005 that he would have been walking out of that his parents got shot watching?
Oh, got it.
So
So
it's
it's
a
not a musical,
2005
but you
movie.
changed it from the opera. It's like, oh wait, it was always a movie, wasn't it?
It was yeah, and in Burton's
I thought it was an
version, it
opera.
was a movie.
So-
Okay. I thought it was
In
always,
Burton's
like,
version, it was a
originally an
movie.
opera.
Sometimes it's an opera. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
Zorro. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's Zorro.
sometimes it's Zorro.
Yeah,
Oh, that would
it's
make sense because of the mask. That
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
ties in. Nice.
so
So what
sometimes
would be
it,
a good mask thing, or the mask maybe?
We did one that was like 85 or something or 87. It was Weekend at Bernie's.
yeah, they came out a Weekend at Bernie's.
That would have been amazingly
Wait,
ironic.
what was the movies that came out 25 years ago then? Are you saying 35 or 25?
It would be
95?
2005.
It would
2005.
be
Well, because
Probably
95, he was born. He was born in 95. He was born in 95. So he had to be 10 years old to go to the movies. So it'd be 2005.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, so it'd be 2005 because I was
So-
getting ready to be like, oh, this dude watched Ace Ventura and his
If-
parents died.
That's if he was that's if
Oh,
Bruce Wayne is
Batman
35
Begins.
years old right now.
What if he saw Batman Begins and then he becomes Batman?
That's the best. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna
that's
get better than that. I don't think we're gonna get better than that. That's the best
Yeah,
one.
no.
He sees a crime fighting movie, then he sees a movie about his parents. He
About
sees a
his-
movie that in the movie his parents get murdered, and now his parents get murdered outside the theater, and then he has to make it like a thing. He's like, no, this is it. I was made for this.
The story then becomes that his superpower is whatever movie he watches, everything in his real life happens with what happened in the movie. So like if he watches,
You know what? And then it becomes that movie
Well,
with
then you definitely watch the wrong
Will
film.
Ferrell. It becomes that movie with Will Ferrell where he's in the movie, he's in the novel,
yeah, Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger
I
Than
love that
Fiction.
one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
That's a
very
good
good movie,
movie.
very underrated movie. Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, him and Maggie Gyllenhaal, very good performances. That's a great
Um,
movie.
That's actually a more believable plot than Dark Knight when the Joker and Batman are fighting for the hand of Gyllenhaal
She's
of Maggie
fine.
Gyllenhaal.
I don't know why everyone uses her such shit.
She is she really like fight worthy? She's really like let's start a war worthy.
Here's the thing. I think Maggie
like
Gyllenhaal is very pretty. It's just hard to look at her when you know Jake Gyllenhaal exists. You know, like
This is fair.
because now she looks like Jake Gyllenhaal with a wig on. You know what I mean? Like
Don't you ever insult Jake Gyllenhaal like that. Jake
I love
Gyllenhaal's
Jake.
beautiful.
Jake Gyllenhaal's one
Jake
of my
Gyllenhaal's
favorite
beautiful.
actors.
He is
Jake Gyllenhaal's
gorgeous.
one of my favorite actors. He's
No, but he's
literally
also
the best.
gorgeous. But he's also gorgeous.
So handsome. Yeah, he's so handsome. Are you kidding?
He's
Yeah.
way
Look, I had
prettier.
this-
He's way prettier than his sister. Way prettier.
Listen, Maggie Gyllenhaal is handsome. Stop. Like,
Oh God, why? She is pretty.
She
She's
is.
pretty for like regular. She's
I'm
pretty
being
for
such a
regular people.
shithead.
Pretty.
She is very pretty.
She's
Yes.
pretty for
She's very-
regular people. She's really,
Yeah.
but not celebrity pretty. There's other levels, man. Hollywood has other levels. I mean,
no, but the thing is, like, I miss back when celebrity pretty was like you're pretty and there's something different about your face. Like, you didn't have to be. I feel like right now people are a lot more copy paste. Like
Man,
right now
you
everybody's right now it's back into the heroin chic. Right now everybody's
because
doing
everybody's
that
on the
ultra
Ozempic.
thin.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Ozempic diet.
Well, I don't think what's his name is on the Ozempic diet. Timothy Chalamet. I don't think he's on the Ozempic diet.
No,
but
he
still,
just looks like a he just looks like a puppet all the time. He looks like he looks like what's his face? Jeff Dunham. He looks like Jeff Dunham's puppet.
Yeah.
But he I was gonna say you brought up something, Steph, where you're absolutely right, because back in the 90s, I remember my first crush ever was Alicia Silverstone. And if you look at Alicia Silverstone, she's just a girl. You know what I mean? Like
no.
You don't think so?
Though.
She's stunningly beautiful. She's stunningly beautiful. She's
like not
regular. She's not regular people.
I just told you she was my crush. I know she's stunning.
No, but you're making it seem as if she's just a girl. You're making it seem as if she's just like
no. But I know what you mean compared to like how now even to be Instagram famous for being
you
pretty,
need to look like your AI. Yeah. Like she looked like a person.
I'm just old. I'm old. I'm 43. So I don't know what good looking nowadays looks like, because whoever's good looking, whatever famous celebrity is good looking now is way too young for me. So they haven't even popped into my radar. Like I'm at the level of like my porn has to be MILFs that have daughters that are in their 30s. Like that's where my MILF, that's where like I'm like,
wow.
That's fair. I get that.
That is a filter.
Because there are definitely like celebrities that come out now and they're like, oh my God, this is like the new hot person. I'm like, that's a fetus.
That's
right. Yeah.
That person still looks like they're 15. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, didn't Conan make that joke where they said because they were showing everyone's first headshot of all the nominees, and then he went to Timothy Chalamet and it was just a fetus.
Oh, that's funny. That's great.
Dude, Conan killed it at the Oscars.
He's so good.
Conan's the best.
He did. Have you guys watched the Oscars yet in Australia? Did you guys get the Oscars in Australia yet?
They got it a day before us.
It was like last week. We had a cyclone, dude.
Oh, did you?
I've been distracted all week. Yeah.
You had a cyclone?
Yeah, we had the first cyclone that hit Brisbane in like 50 years.
Oh, wow. That's
by cyclone, do you mean a hurricane?
Yeah, it's just here. So it goes the other direction.
Yeah.
I actually mean it.
So is that the difference between a cyclone and a hurricane? It's just the other direction?
Yeah. During the hurricane, she flushes the toilet and goes, wow, just like home.
I made the joke while you were gone. I was like, it's weird that my Wi-Fi is better than hers. I'm on a cruise ship and she's at home, but her home is in Australia, so the Wi-Fi goes in the opposite direction.
In a different direction, yeah. It reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Bart runs up the bill just to call Australia to see if the toilet water goes a different direction. That's so funny.
Everyone without fail still asks me. Like the first time I ever met them that I'm here. Everyone. It's one of the first things. That and also about the shrimp. And I'm like, they don't even call it shrimp. It's not even shrimp here.
What do they call it?
Prawn.
That's right. That's right.
It's bigger. It's actually I like better, but yeah.
But I was gonna say, aren't prawns? We have like Americans have prawns too, but prawns are bigger than shrimp, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like, you guys just don't have shrimp. You guys just don't have shrimp.
Yeah, right. Not really. It's not really a thing.
Okay.
So prawns.
It's kind of weird that Americans made like insects very like the delicacy, you know, because like it is like sea insects. You know what I mean?
It's a sea roach, but it's delicious. If actual roaches tasted like that, I'm sure we'd all be better off. But
as Jim Gaffigan says,
seafood,
look,
so to me, it's all
as Jim
they're all
Gaffigan
literal
says,
insects.
As Jim Gaffigan says, he says, look, I like butter too, but seafood is one of those things that it's pretty much just butter based, you know, stuff. You know, without garlic or butter, you've got nothing.
I have a genuine love for it.
I said this bit. I have this joke because I don't like seafood, and then whenever I say I don't eat seafood, people always go, "Oh, not even," and then they insert whatever they think is base level seafood,
Seafood, yeah.
and the majority of that is always shrimp. Like not even shrimp. I'm like, is shrimp in the sea? So how is that not included in seafood? So I had a friend of mine a few years ago forced me. He's like, "You're gonna eat seafood, man." He took me on tour with him. We were like, we're gonna have a shrimp," and he gave me like bacon wrapped shrimp, and then I ate it, right, and it just tasted like squishy bacon. That's all it tasted like. It's squishy. Like, you don't think that? You're like, isn't that delicious? I'm like, it tastes like bacon, but just squishy. I don't like the texture. It just now it's just tastes like bacon, squishy bacon. And then he's like, "What about this one?" And it was like honey roasted or whatever, like honey butter shrimp. And then I had that or whatever it was. I forgot what it was. Lime, I don't remember. Lime butter
It
or
was
whatever. And then I had it, and I was like, it just tastes like butter. And he's like, "But isn't that delicious?" I'm like, I just think that you're using shrimp as a delivery system for the flavor.
Yeah.
I think
it's kind of like tofu that way, where
I
it's like
also-
it's a good delivery system for the thing you're cooking it with.
yeah, like it's like celery.
go-
Celery is not good. Celery is just
Yeah.
a delivery system for peanut butter or sour cream or ranch. It's
not-
I'm gonna
I think
go
it tastes
I'm gonna
celery
go
more.
even deeper and make people hate me. I think this
Yeah.
is Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is just a delivery system for their sauces. It is not good
You
chicken.
are 100% right, and you can say it
I'm with you.
louder.
It is
I'm with
not
you.
good
I
chicken.
am-
That chicken
I-
sucks ass. It's
I don't
so
think-
bad.
I
100%.
for one don't think the chicken sucks from the Chick-fil-A chicken sucks, but I don't think it's great. I just think
No.
it's mid. I just think it's overrated, and I don't.
yeah.
I would not drive out of my way for Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Now, if I'm
same.
hungry and I see a Chick-fil-A, I wouldn't hesitate. I'll be like, okay, let's go to Chick-fil-A. That's fine. But some of these people are like, we gotta go to Chick-fil-A.
Bro, it's not that
There's
serious.
one
They're like, go on
17
about the
miles
local
away from
fries.
here. I'm like, 17 miles? What are you talking about, guy? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that serious. Like, and
Do they
that's
have-
why. No,
Do they
go
have
ahead, what
Chick-fil-A
were
in
you-
Australia?
No. I'm not
No.
missing it.
They don't have Taco Bell either.
They do
What?
here and there. Yeah, they do. By me,
Here
they,
and
and
there.
they just opened up their first Wendy's. So I think
Do they
Wendy's
call
is trying to find its little way in.
Do they call it Wendy's?
It's actually called Wendy's. There's not a funny
Because
name for it.
Burger King is not Burger King.
Burger King is Hungry Jack.
Hungry Jack.
And McDonald's they called Macca's.
That's
That's
awesome.
McDonald's. They just
What-
Macca's, but
What's
it's
your
still
fried
McDonald's.
chicken joint then?
The fried chicken. So for fried chicken, we usually actually like Korean fried chicken is really good. Like
Yeah,
so like all the
Jollibee?
Korean spots are like, yeah, like
Jollibee's Filipino, isn't it?
that's Filipino. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Filipino. We don't have a Jollibee though. Like it's more the thing is like there's not really like a lot of franchises here, and the franchises that are here aren't like fried chicken. It's more grilled. So they
Sure.
have this. They have Nando's,
Okay.
which I actually do love Nando's,
Yeah.
and they have their fried chicken. They do have KFC, but like Red Rooster is the one that's more popular. Like you'll see like
Yeah.
like in the truck stops and stuff. Like
What's
that when you're road
crazy is that if you go to like even Latin American countries, like poor Latin
Mhm.
American countries, KFC is like the biggest delicacy there. And their KFC kind of rules. Like it's like pretty good, you know?
tripping. Yeah, the chicken is pretty
Um,
good.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just interested. I can guarantee you if you that you weren't missing Chick-fil-A, because it's nothing to write home about, man. It's nothing
No.
to write anybody about. It's just like
Right.
whatever.
No, I miss like Cuban food
Robert-
when I'm here. Like I miss
Rob-
Latin
Of
food.
course.
Ro-
Of course.
Robert Hawkins is a great comic, and he had a great joke about she's nothing to write home about. Like, she's great, but she's nothing to write home about. He's like, who writes home about a woman? it's like who? And he does this whole bit, and I'm not gonna do it justice, so I'm not even gonna try. But he does this whole thing about like, oh, dad and the dirt star and her, oh father, and he does this whole thing about like, who writes home about a chick? This is fucking creepy as shit.
Bro, you
but
know what
yeah.
that reminds me of? That reminds me of another comedian who came up with the joke about how in The Notebook, how Ryan Gosling goes, I wrote you every day. And she didn't answer. So he started going through every day and how more and more insane he sounded without getting a response. And it's the funniest thing. He's like, day 365, still haven't heard back from you. And just like,
You know what? Fuck you, man. Fuck
Yeah,
you. Because you know what?
the reception
it
isn't
be-
great. Like,
yeah.
It
am I getting
becomes
lost
it
in your
becomes
spam
like
folder?
remember back in it becomes the voicemail that you leave Remember,
Yeah.
you know how when you leave voicemails and you haven't heard back, and then you get like, "Hey, man, you know what? If you're mad at me, just fucking tell me, man."
Yes,
And, like that
exactly.
would be in written
It
form.
becomes that. Yeah, it becomes the
Yeah.
hey, like if you don't want to date anymore, like that's okay. You can just like let me know. It's
Just like
it's so funny.
just write me back being like, nah. Just
Yeah, do
anything.
something.
Oh,
Yeah.
would it be great if she wrote back K? Just
Just a little X.
K. Just K.
Okay.
Oh
Just
my
a thumbs
gosh.
up. A drawing of a thumbs up.
Oh,
I'm s-
or you be even better. He gets a reply. He finally gets a reply, and the reply says, "Your mail has been sent and received." Like that's all. You left me
Oh
on
my
red.
God.
You left me on red.
My God, that would suck. That would suck.
Fantastic. That
But
was
yeah, like
fantastic.
it's so funny to kind of pull back the strings on these like romantic movies and
I know.
realize like realize the reality of it, and you're like, what's it's not as romantic as you think when somebody isn't replying to you after 2 years, like or however long it was. Like you start to become insane.
I sent Mike a clip of a podcast that was done by old people, like literally old people.
Mm.
And they had just watched The Notebook, and they were talking about The Notebook, and these
Yes.
old people, and this old lady was like, "I don't like the fact that Hollywood is romanticizing leaving the rich guy. He was nice. The rich guy was nice. Why don't you just stay with the rich guy?" And then they're like, "But the other guy was like, that other guy had no ambition. Noah had no ambition." And this old lady's talking about how she would not have picked Noah. She would have picked the rich guy because the rich guy would have given her a good life and good medical insurance. And then the guy,
Yeah.
the other host of the podcast, which is another super old man, was like, "Do you think that would have stopped dementia? Do you think that's
Exactly,
what what would have happened?"
That was
great,
such a
man.
funny.
It would have
You
made
think
it
that would have stopped her from
comfortable.
getting dementia? Because
Yeah.
because she's like he would have had better health care, and he's like that wouldn't have stopped her from getting dementia.
Yeah, I don't know if you know
So
how this works, but
stupid.
dementia
There
doesn't
are
just hit
certain
the
medications that help.
dementia
Yeah.
doesn't avoid people with Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, God happened.
Oh shit, he has Cobra. Forget it. Like,
Never mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
the dark
curious
part of my
about.
brain can't help but wonder, like, what if we all inevitably got it? What would be the period of time in our lives that we would constantly like blip back to?
That
Because
is
like, there's always
interesting.
there's always a period that people tend to like get sucked back to the most.
I
Mhm.
just hope
Same
it
for
goes
everybody.
back. I hope it goes back to when I'm on stage. I hope it goes back to when I'm on stage, and then me doing crowd work, and then my family has to put up with me doing crowd work. It's so fucking
Like you're
They're like, "Oh, there he goes again."
conversing with
Go
them.
to your son every day, and what do you do for a living? What do you do?
Yeah.
It's like,
Nice,
Dad, I'm
nice. You have,
Dad, I'm 8.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
and what do you do for a living?
You have any kids?
What do you?
Yep.
Are you two
What do you
dating? War brother and
You
sister.
dating? That's my sister. Oh, hey, are you guys from West Virginia? What's going on? Hey, I don't know.
This is gonna be a great clip for TikTok. Like, just-
All right, guys, take it easy. Right? You don't want to get mad at me. All right. You act like I've said this 1,000 times. I've only asked you this. This is the first time I'm meeting you. It's like, oh God, Dad, you just
Dude, I can I be honest? This is such a funny. I think you should leave sketch. like just a messed up like dad with dementia who's a stand-up comic who does crowd work only for his family.
yeah.
Like that's really funny.
But at least you could hook up that family member, right? Because if he's constantly doing crowd work, you're like, well, where's the close-up in Mike? Let's just,
Yeah.
you might as well just let him go.
I wrote this sketch recently where the whole it's this guy going to an improv class and he only initiates scenes with this one woman, and as the scene goes on you start to find out that it's his ex-wife and he's only taking the class so he could talk to her. And it's like it's so messed up. And it's just such a funny premise of like having
Every
this
single scene, him inevitably trying to work out what happened between them.
what exactly every scene is initiated and they just start talking about like the house and
All right,
the kids.
outer space, and you just go like
Yeah.
outer space, and he's like, okay,
Why did you ask for space between you and our kids? Like, All right, let's do another suggestion. Let's do something weird. Dildo. I found a dildo in the inside of your shelf.
The size
You
was disturbing.
Like just
Everything was back. Everything was back to her being a whore. Everything was back to her being a whore. Like, and no matter what
Can we
happens,
just get a
everything was.
location? Starbucks. Yeah, and you got that barista from Starbucks, you whore.
I can't go back there.
I can't go back to Starbucks anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's just such a funny thought to me. I don't know. That's
good,
just
man.
Imagining somebody taking an improv class to do that is so. It gives the Michael Scott always having a gun.
Always having a gun. He always has a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was actually
Like,
thinking about. I was like, it's conjuring up thoughts of Michael Scott always having a gun at improv class.
He told me not to say anything, but he has a gun in this scene. That's so.
I don't know if my improv credits transfer. So good. So good. Steph, have you been watching? I know you're a mom, so I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask anyways. Have you been watching TV?
Yes, I actually finally started like sitting down, like having a show that I watch with Dave again.
What do you watch?
Currently, at the minute, I'm watching either Yellow Jackets.
Great show.
It's so fucking good.
So good.
I liked it enough that I literally went all the way up to like third or fourth episode of season 2, stopped, and literally went back to Dave and went like, you need to watch this because we need to watch the rest together. And like rewatched it so that we could now be caught up and watch it every single night, knock the kids out, actually sit down and watch that. And I've been watching Married at First Sight Australia.
Okay.
Married at First Sight. I've never even heard of that. Do they have that in America?
Yeah, they do.
I think they might.
I'm pretty sure.
Married at First Sight. I know of 90 Day Fiance. Me and Vanessa get into 90 Day Fiance. We love 90 Day Fiance. That's like
it's
trash.
fucking.
That's
trash TV.
Trash TV at its trashiest, and we're not trash TV people, but fuck, apparently we are.
Everybody has that one trashy TV show that they like.
Yeah.
Everybody
Some people have friends.
Well,
I have 90 Day Fiance.
For me, it was Flavor of Love, dude. I don't think it gets trashier than Flavor of Love.
90 Day Fiance gets pretty trashy, bro. I mean, you're right,
bro. You have to understand these models are fighting over not even a rapper. He was a hype man for a rap group. He's not even a rapper. He's just a guy. Like
he's a fan of a rap group from the 80s. It wasn't even like he's a fan of the rap group that's currently happening right now. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
He wears a giant clock around his neck because he never knows what time it is. Like that's insane. He looks like a talking turd. Like it's like, what else do you need? Like,
it's fantastic.
It's the
so
best.
What's the show? Love it. Was it? Would you say Love at First Sight?
Oh, Married at First Sight. It's essentially just like a reality show of like arranged marriages. So like these 3 experts over here, they match couples together, and then the couples don't meet each other until their wedding day, and then that's where the show starts. Is they get married, they meet each other, get married, and then spend the next like 2 months doing different like activities and supposedly like all these little assignments that are supposed to help them grow and bond and see this would actually be basically backwards and then see if they would actually I think at the end they do like a vow renewal. I haven't gotten to that point yet. The interesting way that they do it here though, it's literally like a 2-month like event here where like 3 or 4 days, I forget what the schedule is again, but like nightly they release a different episode. So it's not even like once a week, it's like a few times a week. And it's different lengths. Like you don't even know the length of what the episode is going to be. It's just like you just got to be there to get it and catch on to it. And yeah, they've actually been pretty decent about keeping spoilers out. Although apparently this season people have been running off at the mouth and stuff. So I have some things have been spoiled, but it is peak trash. Peak trash.
That's crazy.
I started watching a couple shows. I started watching White Lotus is getting a lot of attention now again.
Oh yeah.
My wife and I watched the first. We watched the first episode of the first season when it came out, and it was fine. It was a good show, but life got in the way. It was actually during COVID, so we should have actually been able to finish it, but we didn't. And so I was listening to a podcast, and it's a sports podcast, but they went off the rails, and I could relate. and they started talking about White Lotus season 3, and I'm like, oh no, I had to like fast forward to like 40 minutes of like White Lotus crap. So then I was like, you know what, I should watch that. So now I'm on season 2 of White Lotus, and season 1 was fine. It was a good show. I don't get yet why the love affair for this show. The only thing I can think of is that people love seeing the elite rich people go through shit. It's a good show. So the first and second season, I can't speak to the third season because I'm only on the second season. But the first and second season, it's an anthology series. So like they have not one has nothing to do with the next season. So it's basically takes place at a White Lotus hotel, and these are like 5-star, super high-end resorts. And then you get the cast of characters, people who are vacationing for a week, people who are vacationing for whatever, and then you get the hotel operations manager and the lobby and then the way they did it in the first 2 seasons is at the very first episode there's a murder, but you don't know who's murdered, but you know that there's a murder, and then it goes like 7 days earlier, and then you're watching the rest of the season catching up to who died and who killed who. It's a whole thing. And then the only character that went on from season 2 to season 1 is Stifler's mom. So Stifler's mom,
Jennifer Coolidge, put respect on her name.
I've done stand-up with her. Stifler's mom. Stifler's mom.
And by stand-up, do you mean your dick is standing up when you see her on screen?
No, at all. Not at all.
I said
milf. I said milf, not saber-toothed tiger. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. It's Mary, you're so funny. Oh my God.
So Stifler's mom and the guy that she meets in season 1 ends up being in season 2, but that's really the only common thread, and the fact that they're at a White Lotus, but it's not the same hotel. So the first one was in Hawaii, and the second one is in Italy, is in Sicily.
Bro, you want to hear some information that'll blow your dick off? The creator of the show is Ned Schneebly from School of Rock.
Yeah, and he was also in Survivor.
Yep, sure was.
And he puts a bunch of people from Survivor in that show.
Mm-hmm.
That were
insane.
Yeah. He was on a season of Survivor. And then, so I've been watching that show. And then I also started watching Paradise. Have you guys heard of Paradise?
I loved Paradise.
Dude, I'm on episode 4 of Paradise. It's a show on Hulu. You guys don't get Hulu, I know. But figure it out. You guys got to figure it out. Okay, I don't know what to tell you.
Australia doesn't get Hulu, really?
No. Australia doesn't get Hulu. Canada doesn't get Hulu. Yeah, I'm hip with the international TVP.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's a show on Hulu, and it's a show about the bodyguard of a U.S. president. And one of the very first scenes in the very first thing is that the president is murdered, and then the whole thing is told in like a combination. Steph, the way I could put it to you that I know you'll relate is every episode they move forward by going backwards. So every episode is basically Arrow season 1, they're just like, hey, remember that time that remember the first time you got the assignment to be the president, and then they go back and it's like 7 years ago, whatever. It's the whole thing.
For some reason, I thought you were going
to say. But I can't tell you the big surprise. I can't tell you the big surprise because that would be ruining the whole thing for you. But you find out the big twist at the very end of the first episode. But I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you.
I thought you were gonna say it's basically just less religious conclave. Because like in a weird way, it's kind of like what are the protocols of what happens when the president dies and who's questioned and things like that, because they're questioning, obviously he's the right hand man, he's the head bodyguard, so they're questioning like, hey man, what the fuck, did you do this?
He was the last one to see him alive.
He's like, hey, did you do this? Like, like that kind of thing. It's Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden.
That's what it is. It's Sterling K. Brown. He is so good.
Bro, he's one of the best actors working right now. That dude's awesome. Yeah, James Marsden is really good too as the president. And that
I like the fact that they make him unlikable, just like how he was when he recommended that a child molester go free. It's good.
Oh, really? I didn't know he did that.
Did you not watch? Did you not watch the show? In the chat, what was the show? Steph, about the Nickelodeon kids.
Oh, Quiet on Set. Yeah, I saw
Oh,
Quiet on Set.
yeah.
So quiet on set, one of the people that wrote that letter to the judge saying he would never do this, he would never touch kids, was James Marsden.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't know
yeah.
He
I didn't know
wrote
he
a
was one of them.
glowing review of this guy's character. He wrote a glowing character.
Yeah, I was surprised that didn't affect his career more.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
is
just like,
honestly, it's one of those things which, like, I mean, a lot of people wrote letters, and it will, just to bring it right back to the time traveler's wife, that's what happens when you're groomed. And there's all kinds of grooming, you know, like sometimes you can
but the
groom
time
someone into
traveling
writing.
part is a big deal, man.
No, but what I'm saying is there's different kinds of grooming, and in a lot of ways, like, he probably got all of those people, you know, like, bro, especially, you know, not to take it into that tangent, but like, I could, even though it was only said, you know, that what Drake Bell said, like, he looked at them and said, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, I felt like I was in the courtroom. It was
Yeah.
like insane to like see all that, like, Hollywood elite, and just be like, you should be ashamed of yourself
And
that you did this.
the other guy was even worse. That other guy, the Drake's friend, whatever the guy's name is, whatever the fuck his co-star's name was, whatever. That guy's a
Really?
piece of shit. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
he also vouched for that guy. Did you not watch the fucking documentary series? It's in there.
I actually
did.
didn't watch it. Didn't Drake Bell also go on though to also prey on younger women though?
He ended up, yes. And in a lot of ways, I'm pretty sure he did.
Tragic.
It's like one of those things where he probably did the documentary to get a little bit of heat off of him for that. But yes, but honestly, it's a,
Sad
this
shit,
is
man.
this is day one therapy speak, but hurt people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes plenty of sense. When I heard that story, I was like, oh shit, like, this sucks, but also it explains his behavior currently. Like, you know, because all of these terrible things happened to him when he was 12 years old, you know, so it fucking sucks. But anyway, Paradise is great. And
Paradise.
I've been watching Severance. Do you guys watch Severance?
I watched season 1 like 2 3. I watched season 1, like I finished season 1 with it. I watched it within a week, right? I told myself watch 1 episode a day, and I watched season 1 in a week, and then like 2 days later, the first episode of season 2 came out, and now I'm just waiting for the whole of season 2 to come out so I could just watch season 2.
I can't tell you how incredibly good
So great.
the show is. It is unreal.
Have you watched Severance? It's on HBO. No, it's on Apple TV. Apple
See,
TV,
for a
yeah.
second there, I was getting mixed up, and I thought you were talking about Succession. That one I've been meaning to watch.
No.
I don't know.
No,
if
Succession
I know
is a different show, but very good for different reasons.
Also, yeah.
Oh,
I haven't
right,
seen
like-
Succession yet, but
Apparently the writing's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, the writing is incredible. It's
Adam Scott's in this one.
yes. It's Adam
and
Scott, Patricia Arquette,
directed and written by
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller, you know. The show's not funny, by
but
the way. It's not funny.
It's
No, I
not
know,
even
but
a
it-
little
this show's-
bit
A lot of the
funny.
stuff that he writes, he does serious stuff.
This show's dark.
Honestly, if I could, and I mean this in the nicest way, and I think that even if I said this to his face, he would take it as a compliment. I think that Ben Stiller's entire career has all just been leading to the genius of what is this show.
The show's
Because
really good.
because it's one of those things where, like, only something like Severance can be directed by somebody like him. The way that it looks, the way that it feels, the way that it's written, just like, it's so incredibly, and a lot of people don't remember that he started as a director. He was hired at SNL as a director. The Cable Guy is his movie. Like, I mean, he's had a lot of directorial things. And then he did that Chernobyl thing for HBO. And then that was when, you know, the buzz started happening about, like, him being very good behind the camera. And now he's just been doing serious stuff behind the camera. And honestly, I'm here for it, man. Like, it wouldn't.
So, what's his name? There was another guy who's also a comedic actor who directed Ozark. Jason, who am I thinking of?
That's not Bateman, right?
Jason
Yeah,
Bateman
Jason Bateman.
directed
Yeah,
Directed?
directed
yeah,
and
he
starred.
directed
Yeah,
Ozark. He directed and
Oh.
as
starred
did Bill
Ozark.
Hader did the same for Barry as well.
So my
Okay.
question to you is, who's a better director in as far as actors that became directors, or TV actors specifically, TV actors that became directors?
Dude, right now it's gonna get me. It's gonna take a lot of effort to make me think that it isn't Ben Stiller, because
Oh, I mean,
like
technically, wouldn't you put God, freaking Happy Days?
yeah, technically you would put Ron Howard there,
You'd
but
have to put Ron Howard up
you
there
would
because he was
have
like one of
to.
the original.
Yeah, but he
This
doesn't
is that
direct TV. But he doesn't
this
direct
is
TV. He directs
this is that
films.
this is that
Oh,
conversation
you're
that
saying
you
TV
have.
specifically to TV.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that
I'm saying that he direct. Yeah, I'm saying direct TV shows, right?
this is
Is
that
like, what
conversation that
child
nerds.
actor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is that conversation that nerds have about Batman, where they're like, "Who's the best Joker?" Also, Mark Hamill doesn't count because everybody would say Mark
mean,
Hamill.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
like so, like it's
And you can't say
that's
Mark Hamill, and you
yeah,
can't
you
say
can't see because everybody knows that. Like so that it isn't a real argument. But yeah, like right now, dude, and bro, it's hard because like Bateman does
here's the
Ozark
reason why.
very well.
Here's the reason why I'm hesitant to give it to Ben Stiller.
You got to watch season 2.
Severance is only in its second season.
Yeah.
you
Ozark.
But I
give
can,
me
bro,
close up
I can
4.
tell you right now, I bet you, especially after season 2, Apple will give Ben Stiller as much money as he wants. And
Yeah, but
that
that's not
show
always
will
a good
end
thing.
whenever the fuck he wants.
But that's not always a good thing. That's what I'm
Oh, I
saying.
know.
That
I know.
that we all know TV shows that start off really great and then they just fall off for whatever reason. It's just like, all right, whatever. It's just
Well,
so it could happen.
There was just this conversation that's been happening with Mickey 17. Do you know about Mickey 17?
I know of it. I don't know
I
about the
wanna see
discussion,
that
but I want to
one.
see it.
So
It hasn't come
this
out yet, right?
It has come out. So
Oh,
it came out last week. And it is right now it is it hasn't made very much money, and it's tracking to be a flop right now. And what they're saying is because Bong Joon-ho won all the Oscars for Parasite, Warner Brothers gave him a bunch of money to do whatever he wanted, and he refused to go with Warner Brothers' cut of the movie, and he wanted to cut it himself the way that he wanted to do it. And this movie's not making any money, and the reviews aren't very good for it. I haven't seen it. I don't know. It's probably great, but I don't know. And it's on the trajectory of not making much money. But what this article that I was reading on Deadline today was saying was that Warner Brothers has been learning that they get these directors that make very small projects that are these huge booms, and then they give them a whole bunch of money and then they flop hard, because like Joker was made for $20 million and it made $1 billion, and then Joker 2 comes out and it's a flop, like, so it's like just Warner Brothers is really learning, like, it's probably best to let these directors have just a couple $1 million per episode,
or maybe
per
just
movie.
let them make their fucking movie and stay the fuck out of it. Maybe.
Yeah, that too.
Maybe just let the artists make their own movie. Executives.
Yeah, that's true.
Stephanie, did you ever watch Joker 2?
To be honest, no, I didn't bother.
Yeah,
you were so hyped for it.
I
You were
was
like,
so
it's a musical. I'm gonna be. It's a musical, and it's about.
so hyped.
Remember, and I was like, Steph, it's a musical. It's Joker. You don't need a musical. It doesn't need to be a musical. I love musicals. And you're like, this is made for me. This was made for me. And then it comes out, and Stephanie's like, I don't want to watch it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, once it came out, once I like saw like a few things about it, I was like, I feel like they didn't commit too much to either thing. Like you gotta at least commit.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do it, do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna take a new direction, like go full out direction. You know what ended up killing it for me? What ended up making me less excited and not wanting to, it's the moment I found that they changed Hartley's like what's the word?
Origin story?
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they changed the Joker's origin story in Joker. Yeah, so who cares?
Yeah,
I know, but I wanted her. But I want like
the
Joker's origin story has always changed. Like it's never been a super consistent thing.
That's
There's
right.
been
That's
some,
true. Harley
like
has always
but
been
hers has
the
always been
yeah, but
doctor.
distinct.
you
Yeah.
say
Every
Harley
time.
has always been, but Harley was created with the animated series.
Yeah,
Harley's
Harley
30
was
years
created for
old.
the end.
She
Yeah.
doesn't
But they still
have.
had various versions of Harley in the movies and comic books, and like the
But
iterations of Harley that would happen.
the comic books were only based upon the animated series.
Yeah, she
Like
was
her,
for the
she
animated
was
series.
made and created
But I'm
for
saying
and by the.
but no, they made her and created her in the animated series, but that origin stayed consistent even in her iterations of the comics and in the new versions. Whenever they would come up with her in the comics, she stuck with that origin story. It's not like they retold it and said it from the same perspective. They
Yeah,
always
that's
stuck
true.
with it.
That's
She was a
true.
psychologist who ended up falling for him, going crazy. And then in the movies, stuck with it. Like I liked that continuation of like, oh, they're actually like sticking with this. I would have liked for at least like some sort of, no, we're actually going to stick with the storyline and use these characters for real. Not like, I just feel like as if like we're just going to use the IP. We're just going to use the name and the IP and tell our own story. And the guy wants to be Martin Scorsese, but it's not.
I mean,
I
one thing
think he is. I think he is Martin Scorsese because Martin Scorsese has also made movies that were awful. And I love
Oh,
Martin
yeah.
Scorsese. I think Martin
One
Scorsese is
thing-
amazing.
one
But
thing that
if
I
you
would
watch,
say,
if you watch Mean Streets, that movie sucked, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm not supposed to say
I'm
that
not
because
even
it's
gonna
type,
say
but I'm just saying he doesn't.
you can have an opinion.
I think the original Joker. I think he is Martin Scorsese. I think the original Joker is.
I'm sorry, there's just
phenomenal.
something so subtle about you can have an opinion.
You can. You can. Mean Streets does suck. It's the
Does?
Chick-fil-A Martin Scorsese movie.
No, I know,
really
but
is.
like it doesn't sound like I agree. It just sounds like you can have one.
Yeah.
It's almost a mean girl thing to say.
Yeah. I didn't mean it like that. But-
Sure, you have an opinion too, but you're wrong.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I wasn't gonna say you're wrong. I actually
wrong
agree with you,
opinion.
but I'm just saying that you
Um,
shouldn't feel bad about having an opinion. Is what I meant.
Oh no, but
Yeah.
it's like it's one of those movies. It's one of those Scorsese's like untouchable when it comes to like critical. I'm like, I love him. He made my mountain of directors. He made my mountain of directors.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
pick
but
him.
Yeah,
the
when
the
I say that he wants
critics-
for Scorsese, but he's not, I wasn't meaning like, oh, he's not as good as. I meant like tonally, the movie felt like it lived in the same world. And I
Yeah,
just felt like
it-
was,
it
like,
is
living
very
within
Kings
the
of
same
Comedy.
genre.
It is
Like
very
it
King
is.
of Comedy.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So I felt like
No,
it didn't
it's not
really
King of
feel like
Comedy.
enough
It's
of
more
my
like Taxi
guy's
Driver.
own
King of
voice.
Comedy sucked.
Yes.
That movie blows.
No, but I'm saying it is very Taxi Driver esque.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're
I
like,
get it.
let's make this guy blow up a bit more and put on clown makeup.
Yeah.
I
not
dug.
sexually assault a
I did.
12-year-old.
I'm not a big fan of Taxi Driver, but I love the original Joker movie. I love that movie really like,
Yeah.
a lot.
I liked
anyways,
it too.
let's go with Am I the Asshole? Steph, can you pull that?
Yes, I will pull it up. Let me know if my internet is acting up again because
No,
or
you're
that's
good.
just
It was
Mary.
Nary.
Okay. I don't know. All right, I'll pull it up. Boom, boom. Here we go. We have an Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole
wait.
for leaving
Am
my
I the asshole? Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole?
probably
Yeah.
okay. Usually, but I think in this one. All right, I want your opinions. So, am I the asshole for leaving my own birthday because my girlfriend turned it into a proposal for herself? I, 28 male, had my birthday dinner last weekend, and my girlfriend, Sarah, 27 female, offered to plan it. I was excited because I usually keep things low key, but she said she wanted to make it special. She booked a nice restaurant and invited close friends and family. Everything was going great until it was time for dessert. The waiter brought out a cake, but instead of my name, it said, "Will you marry me, Sarah?" I was completely blindsided. Sarah got all teary-eyed, turned to me and said, "Well, this is the best surprise ever, right?" Everyone around us started clapping and her friends were filming. I just sat there stunned. She took my silence as hesitation and started going on about how she knew I wasn't big on grand gestures, but she couldn't wait anymore, so she took matters into her own hands, quote unquote. At that moment, I stood up and said, "This is my birthday. If you wanted a proposal, you should have talked to me about it first." Then I grabbed my stuff and walked out. Sarah was mortified and her friends blew up my phone, calling me an asshole for embarrassing me and ruining the night. She even said I humiliated her when she was just trying to do something romantic. Now my family is split. Some say I should have just gone along with it for the night, while others think she crossed a major boundary. So am I the asshole for leaving my own birthday because my girlfriend hijacked it for a proposal? Thoughts? Comments.
Well, I've already read this story and it's AI.
Mm.
So
Right.
that is part of that's part of what I was going to say, but I
Yeah.
am going to take it at face value.
Yeah.
Let's just say that it's a real story, that it actually happened, even though it did
Well,
not.
that's what I feel about every Am I the Asshole?
Yeah,
Every Am I the
there's just
A
Asshole is
lot of them
like,
were just like, and then when everyone's like, and then everyone clapped. I'm like, did they?
bro, tell me
every
about it.
every time I read Am I the Asshole, I go, oh, this is somebody working on the creative writing project. All right, cool.
Yeah,
I'm down. I'm down. I don't
exactly.
care. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care. I don't need it to be real. I don't need verification
Let's
videos.
play in your land. Like, let's play in your land of make believe.
Let's play in the sandbox,
To-
man.
To give credit where credit is due, I watch a lot of Smosh reads Reddit stories, and I love that show so much. So I know quite a bit when a story sounds like it's completely made up, just from somebody wanting the glory or whatever. But yes, let's imagine that the story is actually true. Of course not. You're not the asshole for doing that. I mean, she's making it about herself. Like, that's insane. That's like, and I mean, the right thing to do. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have done that, because she could 100% have Topanga'd the proposal, and she could have said, will you marry me? And that would have been completely fine, but she didn't do that. She made it about herself and was like, I'm putting these feelings towards you that you didn't even know that you had or wanted
She's
or
putting
needed.
words in his cake mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Part of me, and I know this is going to sound funny, but part of me, again, thinking that this story is at face value, that maybe she wrote all of that because she felt that they would get more icing if they wrote that in icing.
She's like, I wanted to comp the meal.
Yeah.
The restaurant was like, oh, we provide you a slice of cake. Like, no. This is going to be more writing. So there has to be more than just one slice of cake.
Yeah.
I
love you
think
so much.
I think it's again, like I said, like, the disclaimer is I think all of these Am I the Assholes are all bullshit, but I think they're all fun.
Yeah.
I like
Of
to
course
play in the sandbox.
Yeah. They're
So
so fun.
So I go with I would have grabbed the cake and smushed her face in the cake. I think that would have been it. I think that would have
Going
been
equally make believe.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. You're putting words in my cake. Now I'm gonna put cake in your mouth.
In your
So
words.
therefore,
I'm gonna put cake in your words.
Bullshit.
In your mouth.
And it would have been cute at first. I would have done it like, hey, look at him. And then got
Yeah.
I like that the friends were like, oh my God, how can you do this? It's like that's the definition of, it's like the
But
definition.
those wouldn't be
like,
real friends.
I can't
right?
believe
because,
you
like,
did
I
this
would-
word. You made her feel.
Yeah, like those aren't the definition of real friends, because that's a real
those
friend.
aren't real
You look at your
friends.
girlfriend and you're like, dude, that's psycho. Don't do that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, those
if you
aren't
want
real
to propose
friends.
to him, just propose to him. If you want him to propose to you,
No, as a real friend, you say that to her in private, but in public, you're like,
oh, yeah.
he walked away, he left. What an asshole! And then in private, you're like, girl.
Ahead of time, you're like, girl, don't do it. And when she finally does it, you're like, I get it. It sucks.
I mean, honestly, if this happened to me, I don't know. It's tough, man, because like part of me thinks, especially because, again, taking it at face value, everybody's filming you. So like the last thing I want is to do something that'll make me look bad, and then someone's just going to film it and then put it online and be like, Mike Valdez is such an asshole. Look at this. And of course, out of context, I'm an asshole, but you don't know the whole story, so like, it's just, so I would probably pretend and then have a discussion. But like, again, ultimately, like, if this person really went through this, dodged a freaking bullet, because if that is just a minuscule amount of toxic behavior that is going to just grow and grow and grow in their marriage if they ever get married.
Can you imagine what the best case scenario in this situation is? It's just the person being silent and complacent because you're asking yourself. So you're like, here, also, yes. And the other person's like not even taking part, and they're just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best case scenario. Is you wanted the guy to just sit there.
Right.
Well, it's reminiscent of Charlotte when she got married, and she basically said, "Do you want to get married?" And then the guy, being the spineless prick that he was like, "Okay." He just like she put the words in his mouth, and then he kind of just said okay and did it, and that was their marriage, which was doomed to fail. Which I can relate because I'm a Charlotte. I understand.
Are you talking?
my
Are you talking
friends,
about Charlotte's Web? What are you talking about?
Sex in the City.
Sex in the City. Oh, forgive me, I didn't know.
The Charlotte. Get out of here with this.
I'm such a Miranda. I could never.
Yeah. Miranda's the worst character of all time. Like, you really picked the worst human being of all time.
Yeah, I know. Not only is she a whore, she's a MAGA whore. I'm like,
oh God.
Which one's MAGA?
Freaking whatever her face is.
Miranda.
Yeah.
Really?
At least in real life, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, at least in real life.
Yeah. I don't want to discourage. I don't want to speak ill of the character Miranda, but the actress.
Yeah, the actress is not.
Mike is like, at least in real life, not the character. I don't want to talk that much shit about Miranda.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk shit about because there's Sex in the City people that are like, hey man, like watch it. I like that show. But
that show's great. I love Sex in the City. Sex in the City is one of my favorite shows.
But we can equally all say she's not a good person. And if you think that she is a good person, then you don't like Sex in the City.
Yeah, no, she's
very frustrating.
She's very, and she's not a good friend. That's the worst part about it. She's not a good person, and she's not a good
100%.
friend.
Are we talking about Miranda? I feel like Carrie's the one who's like not the best friend.
Oh no! I'm not saying Carrie's a good friend.
Actress?
Let me
back to the actress again.
I want to clarify. That I'm talking about specifically characters. That when I say Miranda's not a good friend and Miranda's a piece of shit person, I don't mean that Carrie's good. No.
You mean they deserve each other?
Yeah. I mean they deserve each other. They are awful human beings. They are awful friends. But the worst one of them is Miranda. Is a bad friend. I think it's just one of those like, it's one of those like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing where it's like both of you were bad for each other.
Yeah.
Both of you are bad for each other.
Together.
And then back to the Am I the Asshole? It's everyone sucks here. Verdict.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That whole case was the epitome of everyone sucks.
Yeah. Right, everyone sucks here.
We got to get going. We got to leave. But before we get out of here, I want to play for you. I'm online all the time, and I saw an ad for an AI app that makes songs, and you just tell it what you want, and it makes a song for you. So I've got a new WuBro intro that I want to debut today, and I want you guys to hear the song. And there's no visual for it, so it's just audio. So you just got to hear the song. But it's the international debut of WuBro, the song created by AI, and then I'll get your thoughts.
Every episode's a journey, we're raising the bar. Talking life and dreams, just look how far we've come. With voices that inspire, we're never alone. We'll find a way together, let's make this our home. Let's break the silence, ignite the flame. What's up, bro? We're breaking the mold. Chasing our dream, go together we're bold. With each passing moment, we rise and we grow. Join in the journey, let's start the show.
Wow.
Oh, it's still going.
Oh, it goes on for another like 2 minutes. It goes on for like another 2 minutes. It's a full song.
What in the D&D?
Dude, that Linkin Park album sucks.
It sounds like a youth pastor like tried to
Yes.
Cool intro to something.
You know,
It sounds like a youth pastor trying to get a cool song and then making it clean, but like putting holy words in it, like
like it's
like Baby
yeah,
Got
and
Bible, like.
Oh, I can't add to that. That's
yeah.
Bro, that sucks so bad.
I think I would actually be curious and listen to that one and be like, well, I mean, I gotta see what they say.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know, man. So I got the song,
So
right? And
art's not quite dead. It's hanging on.
Yeah, it's dying. It's
dying. But the artists still have a shot. they're
yeah.
fine.
Neri's just making the problem worse by feeding AI and telling it what it's doing wrong.
What were the keywords? What was the prompt you gave it?
I swear to God, this is the well. There's a couple things. You picked a style, and you picked. I picked. I did pick rock. I forgot what else.
You picked Linkin Park. Linkin
like
Park and Imagine Dragons.
You're like, what do you think rock is?
But I did. All I put was an introduction for a podcast titled "What's Up, Bro," and I put that in quotation marks. That's it. That's all I put. Everything else it created on its own. And here's the thing, you guys. I don't give a shit. I fucking love the song. I thought it was great. I'm like, this is fucking great. For the fact that I got that song was made in 45 fucking seconds, man.
Yeah.
Like it was so, and I was just like,
It sounds like it.
And I
sounds
was
like it.
I gotta be honest with you. So I wish that Mercadal would have been here because I had asked him before. I was like, hey, so years upon years ago, 1,000 years ago, I think this is before Stephanie, before you even joined the show originally. Mike and I went on Fiverr. This is when we discovered Fiverr, and we're like, we could discover it. And I paid somebody $5 to come up with a theme song for WuBro, right? And I ended up paying them like $20 or whatever it was, because you know how Fiverr works on different tiers. And I paid somebody, and that song, they ask you for a description, like, what do you want? And so I wrote a description of like what I want. This is what the podcast is, and I gave him. I sent him a couple of links to a couple of episodes, but I was like, basically, we're friends. He's an atheist. I'm a Christian, but we still get along and whatever and all that stuff. So like, I'm writing. I'm trying to like get like this kind of like so he could get the feel of like we have contradicting points of view, but we're still like cool with each other. We're still whatever. And I wanted to have like a Miami vibe. This is what I gave a human. This is on Fiverr. This was 1,000 years ago. And I gave it to him. And I wish that, because Mike has it, and I wish that Mercadal would have been on the podcast, on the episode today. Because the song was literally set to LMFAO. It was literally set to that, you know, that whatever,
we don't
whatever
have
the
the rights
popular
to
song
this.
was.
I know it.
Yeah. And then can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So it was literally set to the LMFAO song, and it was just every word that I wrote, he put into the song. And I'm like, I didn't know I was the one going to be writing the lyrics. I just thought that I didn't know.
He's the atheist, but we get along.
Yes, it's like that. Like it was like literally
It's
like
What's
that.
Up, Bro
And I'm like,
podcast.
Oh my God. And then it
It's
was.
What's
And
Up, Bro podcast.
I wish that Mercadal would have been here. And then he just the song. So here we are, years upon years later. AI created a song.
Fair,
in 45 seconds.
LMFAO sucks.
But again, I like LMFAO, but I like them for what they are. I don't go to I
for
don't
what
listen
they
to
were.
LMFAO for like deep, like introspective shit. It's like, no, this is what you put on to work out, and you're gonna be done. And that's it. All right.
If you want to show an alien what 2011 was, you put on LMFAO. Yes.
So that was a song. Sexy.
You put on that, and you put on Thrift Shop. Good.
Oh my God. Thrift Shop was great. Fuck you. I love Thrift Shop. Anyways,
but that 2011, 2012.
That is very.
But that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, you guys made fun of the song, rightfully so, because the song isn't the greatest song in the world. Whatever, it's fine. I don't care.
Also, I wouldn't have made fun of it if a person made it.
But I heard it and I thought, this is really fucking cool that this could be done in 45 seconds. Now, this is when you download the app, you get one free song. This is it.
Sure.
Right. If I wanted to pay more, then I could go in there and add and change and adjust and be like, oh, and I could tell it, okay, don't do this, add this word, take this
just make
lyric
the problem
out.
worse. Yeah.
Right. So you can micromanage the AI. But I'm not gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna pay anything for it. But I thought that was pretty fucking cool. I was like, I'm in. And that was the actual intro song when we were waiting, Mike. That
No, I know.
put
I
on.
remembered. Yeah.
I have the instrumental because it lets you download the instrumental version too. So I downloaded
Yeah, in case you want to sing it at karaoke. What the fuck?
In case you're auditioning for American Idol, you're auditioning for American Idol. Like I brought my own song. I'm singing an original. I'm singing an original.
I want to give you a challenge one day with the AI thing. I want to see if you can come up with like the keywords to come up with like a type 5 using ChatGPT. Like
Type 5 comedy, like a comedy set.
Yeah, yeah.
It can already do that. It can already.
I'm
do
sure
that.
it could.
Whether it's funny or not.
I want to know who's taking them. That's what I'm saying. Is it in the delivery? Is it like will it actually come up with good shit?
I don't know. Yeah, I think
comedy's still safe.
I get so like not weirded out, but like I get like very, I guess,
protective?
touchy about it. No, just touchy about it, just because it's one of those things where like, you know, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, and I come up with ideas on my own, and now somebody can just fart stuff on a keyboard and my job is gone. You know what I mean? So
but like that song should make you feel a little better because you're like, oh wait, no, I'm still okay.
Well, again, it goes back.
But I think it's all subjective, right? Like it's all like even before AI, even you take away AI, there's still crap. Like humans made really shitty music in the past.
Of course,
like that's humans don't need the aid of AI to make shitty music. They've made shitty music before. There's been shitty comedians.
I also will.
How many open mics have you been to?
Oh yeah,
you know.
Well, bro, I mean, I've been to so many open mics as
well. But I'm telling you, I'm saying specifically her because she's not a comic. You're a comic.
Oh,
of course, we've been to open mics. You know what I mean?
So you're there trying to workshop your shit. I'm there just trying to support and watch people, and then just taking in the same sets over and over again.
That don't work.
Taking in the same.
No, that didn't work last week.
Don't work. That didn't work.
That didn't work last week.
That's
I watched enough bits and sets that after a while I started workshopping shit with people and being like, well, man, you said it like this time last time. And
why don't you say it? Like, why do you say it instead of saying this? Why don't you say something funny?
Yeah.
Why don't you just scrap the whole last 3 minutes of that?
That was
Have you ever thought about not talking about 9/11? Like, have you ever just thought about it?
That reminds me of that Greg Giraldo bit when he was roasting the blue collar guys, and he was like, "Bill Engvall, you have 11 comedy albums. Have you ever thought about saying something not funny and not recording it?"
Dude, rest in peace, Greg Giraldo, dude. My god, he's the best.
One of the greatest.
One of my favorite Greg Giraldo jokes was about the freaking homeless people. How he saw two homeless people yelling, and then one of them just goes, "Hakuna Matata, motherfucker!" And he's just like, "What kind of argument do you have to get into to where the final cherry on top is saying Hakuna Matata, motherfucker to somebody?"
Fantastic. He was so great. He was so good. All right, listen, we gotta get going. We gotta wrap it up. Thank you guys for checking us out. Love you guys. Stephanie, you're fantastic. I'm glad to have you back. Steph Anime Senior is back. I'm glad to have you back. Valdez, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate you. Of
course, it was so fun to see you and so fun to finally be on an episode with Steph.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'll be in town soon, by the way.
Yeah.
In where? Miami?
In Miami. Yeah, I'm gonna go visit for a couple weeks.
Oh, awesome.
Well, I won't be there, but all right.
All right. So I don't know. You don't know.
I know my schedule. Trust me, I know my schedule. I'll send you my schedule. Trust me, I know my schedule. Yeah, it's gonna be. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check us out all WuBro on all social media. I didn't say this at the top but we usually do. You could you could watch us live if you're listening to the audio version, which most of you do. You can go back and watch us on the video version on our YouTube, on our Facebook channel. So make sure you guys check that out. We appreciate you. I have a show coming up on May 7th at the Miami Improv. So make sure you check that out. It's going to be me and Luis Diaz. It's a Neri and Luis unscripted. And we're going to be doing that hybrid show of stand-up comedy. And then both of us get on stage at the same time and we'll do improv with the audience. Mike, you got anything coming up? Any shows coming up?
No, I've been getting a lot of DMs letting me know that they want to see a show with me and Neri. I don't know. You have to DM Neri about that. That's a Neri thing. It has nothing to do with me. But if you
And
do
his
want to
schedule
see if you want to see a
Check
Neri
the
and Mike
schedule, yeah.
Valdez
Yeah.
unscripted, then you're gonna have to DM him because he's very busy. It has nothing
I
to do with
am.
me. I know that you guys want to see me, but there's nothing that I can do about it.
People are clamoring and begging,
people
They're
dude,
clamoring.
you should see my DMs, dude. It's unbelievable.
just
Like,
sob
Yeah.
stories and just
I get a
most
bunch of my
heartbreaking,
DMs
please.
are full of like, I know you're not gonna believe this, but I'm in a sorority and I have to fuck the first 50 guys that contact me.
What's your kick?
That's literally my DM, by the way. I get those DMs on a weekly basis. I swear to God, those bots.
So
I
funny.
get those DMs all the time.
That's
yeah.
insane.
And it's like that's when AI gets creative. I'm like, well, this is a sorority.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like,
I
oh,
will
we're going
click
with a
on this
different
link.
story. Okay. Okay, cool.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
And then
Anyways,
you
love
DM
you
it
guys.
back like, write me a song in 45 seconds and we'll see what happens.
Love you guys. Check out the show. Check out whatwashisname.com for everything of my comedy. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Peace.
See ya.
What's up, bro?